losing his mind. And I'm reaping all the benefits.
Well, it seems I've done it. Hopefully, this does not collapse. It's nearly...
Hey, welcome everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Just hanging out, having a good time, seeing what's up with you people. Catch up on a few things. Hadn't had a chance to do kind of a chill out live stream conversation. If you guys are members, Matt, I see you're out there. If you guys want a link, or you can come up in here, Matt, just give me a little thumbs up or something like that, so I know, and I will throw you a link for any of my members that are out there. So. Let's say hello to everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Penny was in here for a minute. Brandon out there. Hey, buddy. Hope you're doing all right. Yes, you're at 1,525. That's remarkable. Remarkable, my friend. That's fantastic. Definitely, I love what you do over there. Matt, my brother, yeah, let me know if you want to come up in here and hang out for a little bit. It's fine. We'll talk about some stuff. The princess is here. Leia Rose. Awesome. Great to see you. Hopefully you're doing well and hanging out. I need to have you on sometime. I know that's not always easy with schedules and things like that. We'll do the best we can. So busy week, tons of stuff going on. It's always fun to get to just talk nerdy stuff. I've been able to shout out and big help from Pat S. Pat S has been helping me schedule, particularly my What's Your Story and my comic book talk pre-record videos, which I do every week. So it's just trying to find ways to get some help. Like, how can I manage, things are going and going and going. It also means, like, can you keep doing everything yourself, or do you kind of have to know when to kind of ask for some help? So yeah, Pat's been able to help me do that, and it's been great, and can't thank him enough. Tomorrow night, it's about the same time, actually. I'll be doing a impromptu. I say impromptu because they didn't know until a few days ago. San Diego Comic-Con is this week. So last year, we literally scheduled it that day, that Thursday. So I reached out to those same folks. Many of them said, yes, we'll come on here tomorrow about the same time. We'll talk about some of the San Diego Comic-Con news, some of the things that are going on there. It's just kind of fun to talk about the convention stuff. And this year is going to even be bigger, right? Because, like, none of the typical entertainment hoobaloo is going to be going on, right? It's going to be more, maybe it'll be more comic. I said, maybe it'll be more about actual comic books. Imagine that. So wouldn't that be a nice change of pace? So bear with me. I forgot to open this on my phone. For those of you who don't know how this works behind the scenes, if you don't have it pulled up on an alternate source in some way, shape, or form, then you end up with a situation where you can be getting super chats or messages or things that can go on, and you don't even know about it because it will not cross over to StreamYard. So that has happened to me on a couple of occasions, and I have been embarrassed by it because I had someone who donated like memberships and stuff, and I didn't even know. And I was like, holy cow, cannot believe that happened. So fortunately, it was somebody I could get in touch with easily, so I was able to thank them personally. But man, it just stinks. You want everything to be like tip top and as operational as you can make it. So that's kind of, at least that's how I operate. So, but yeah, tomorrow night we'll be doing some San Diego Comic-Con talk. I'll be doing that here with a great panel. Troy Pacelli will be in the house. Matt says San Diego should be called the Abandoned Con. We'll see. There's still some stuff to talk about, I think. So we'll see. AC is in the house. How are you, brother? How are you? Again, AC, you are a member, so you want to come up in here. You just got to give me a little thumbs up. Let me know what's going on. We'll definitely shoot you a link, and you come hang out. We talk about whatever you want to talk about. So, Troy Pacelli is confirmed. Ryan Roger Athay will be back. Let's see. Ironcaster, I think has some scheduling things, but I feel pretty confident that has and will work itself out. Mike Pacific 414 will be here. I think he is pretty much confirmed, and I think Badass will be hanging around. Badass will be coming in here trying to help me mod and keep things under control. Doing a good job doing what he does. So yeah, there's going to be some fun stuff to talk about with that. Twitter is nice in that regard because you actually can in real time, kind of check in and keep up on things. So, but AC, be careful driving out there, brother. And listen, AC, if you're up for it, man, I think we should do another comic talk. People really responded, I think, very positively about that, going through some stuff. So maybe we need to talk through things that you've been able to work in, because I know you got stuff going on. But if there's a chance we could plug that in, maybe even if we record it in a week or two or something like that, just let me know if you're game, because I would love to do that at your convenience. I know with your schedule and stuff, we have to pick something that's going to work. So just let me know. But haven't been to a con in a while. I'm going to break that bubble. It will be my first convention since pandemic. I'm actually going a week from Sunday to the Tampa Con. I'll be there for Sunday down here in Tampa. We'll probably be there right when the doors open. We'll probably be there most of the day. I'll be there with one of my sons. It's going to be kind of a cool time. Don't really have a set agenda of what I'm looking for, what I'm going to be doing. I'm there mostly because my son wants to go and some things that he's interested in doing. I was kind of asked about who is going to be there, who would be kind of fun to see, and I don't remember anyone on the list where I'm like, holy cow, that would be cool, except for, let me make sure let me get this right. Let's see here. And I'm like such a nerd where I have met so many people. I don't have like the starstruck thing and things like that. So let's see. I'm not waiting in a line or paying for people like Grant Gustin. However, I'll say this with the Hobbits. I have a mini poster, like a replica poster. It's like an 11x17, I think. I have it signed by Sean Astin, and I don't have it signed by Billy Boyd or Dominic Mike. I have two of the Hobbits. I don't have the other two. So yeah, Elijah Wood's good, Sean Astin, but not the other two. So that'd be cool. It'd always be cool to meet Corey L. Feldman, but that's going to be just Madhouse type stuff. I'm just not paying to stand in those kind of lines for that kind of stuff. I'm just not interested in a lot of that kind of shenanigans and getting into that kind of stuff. I was trying to think of who else will actually show up because of the writer's strike and things like that, or the actor's strike. So I'm not quite sure what to expect. Got a feeling that a lot of it is going to fall through, and a lot of these folks are not going to actually show up. So we'll see. Hey, he's down for that. So yeah, let me know. Let me know about your schedule. That'd be great. Appreciate that. So you would like to talk to Gustin? Cool. Yeah, he did have. First off, I would agree, Matt. Season 1 of Flash is fantastic. I'm down with that. Of the people on the list so far, I have to be honest. I'd be down for meeting Bob Eubanks, and that'd be kind of fun. That'd be kind of cool. It's like one of those odd, off the beaten path kind of people. That'd be kind of cool to meet. So, Bobby, you left San Diego, but it was so crowded. These things are a madhouse. I don't know how my son's going to like it. My son is not a massive pro fan type person. Like the crowds and stuff like that's not going to be his thing. So let me keep going here. Yeah. Oh, look, Loretta Swit and James. Oh, wait, Matt said that in comments. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Matt. You and I are catching up. But yeah. That would be cool. I don't have anything for them to sign or anything. So that would be a little like, I don't know what that would be like. I'm sure they have stuff, but that would be really pretty cool. Yes. Yeah, Hot Lips Houlihan and Radar would be that'd be really freaking cool. Yeah, let's see. Final Fantasy voice actor, Jill Harris, Dallas Reed. And you're down into like Halo people, Steve Downs and Jen Taylor. Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I'm not dogging anybody. I'm just like, there's not, Sergio's going to be this. Now we're into comic book people. Yeah. Because we're not into comic book people. Because there's Jim. Jim does voice acting. I've met Jim before. Jim is a super cool guy. And man, he can go in and out of those voices. He's a very, very talented cat. Man, I'd love to have him on sometime. That's actually probably what I will do, right? Let's see if I can get anybody. Like, give me your press contact people. Maybe I can get you on for a comic talk or a Watch Your Story or whatever. Because, some of these guys are like Kelsey. They're so swamped with stuff going on that it's really, really hard to get in the schedule, in the cycle to get their attention to be on for someone like me. But I did get Sergio on. Sergio Cariello will be there. So I'll go over and shake that hand. Tell him, hey, person. I haven't seen him. He's local. It'll be kind of cool. Shane Davis. I have Shane Davis comic books in the other room. Maybe I'll take a Shane Davis book and see if I can get a little scribble with him. Yeah, I wish I would have promoted like his indie work. That would have been kind of cooler than just promoting Superman Earth 1. That's fine. Let's see. Brandon Sanderson is going to be there. That'll make some people happy and some people like, oh, that's great. Yeah, there's Halo people there. AC Steve Downs is there. Yeah, there's a couple of Halo. Let's see. Let me go back up. Jen Taylor, was that who it was? Yeah, Jen Taylor's going to be there as well. Yeah, so yeah, that's nice. Steve Downs and Jen Taylor both being there. It's kind of cool. Yeah, you'd be excited. That makes sense. Let me see. Where was I? Yeah, different name. Graham Nolan's going to be there. I got Graham stuff coming out my ears. I think I have Joe Frankenstein books right over there. Yeah. Maybe I'll check my Joe Frankensteins and see if they have a signature. Because they don't, maybe I can just get a little scribble out of old Graham. It'd be kind of fun. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, AC. The MASH actors. Yeah, well, I mean, they're not going to be able to do any. First off, if they go because of the strikes. But if they are, they won't do anything at a show. But maybe I could figure out how to get their press contacts. That's kind of what I usually do. Is I just take a notepad and see if I can get who their people. Because so the way this works is they tend to have, and again, the bigger the star, the more people we're talking about. Like, so if you have a retired actor like that, you may only have like one person, right? So, but they'll have managers, they'll have PR people, they'll have a publicist, they may have a personal assistant. So you got to figure out, you got to navigate who it is you talk to, and then they'll do promotion for something. So, for instance, if they're promoting a certain type of show, like Grant Gustin, you aren't going to be able to talk to him. You're going to have to go through whoever's handling PR for Flash until Flash is over, and then he'd have more free reign. But until Flash is over, he's going to be at the mercy of however PR for Flash is being handled, that kind of thing. So other folks are here. I guess I should list off names because AC, you're driving. I don't want you to crash in there. So who did I miss? Joe Doyle, Stuart Sagar, Gavin Smith. Gavin Smith's got some good stuff in there. It'd be kind of cool to see something signed by Gavin. Amy Chu, Daniel Kraus, Hugh Howey, Tom Richard on Mad. Oh man, do I have a Mad with Tom? Tom did some other stuff though that I have. Ronnie Hobbs, Mike Bracken, Catherine Sutherland. These are going to be like, they're also going to do panels and stuff. So Catherine Sutherland and Mike Bracken are panelists. So yeah, it's going to be more like this, like I guess the YouTuber cosplayer people type things, right? Patrick David doing a panel, Chris Green, Dark Lady Cosplay. So then the folks that are not going to be able to make it, like Gina and Tim Daly and stuff like that. So, but that's going to be a week from Sunday. I'll be headed out doing that kind of thing. So that'll be kind of fun. Matt says Flash is over. Oh, okay. Interesting. And see, here's what I'm saying about like the chat thing and the way the problem with StreamYard is so on the one, the chat froze up. It just stopped working. So Flash is over. Okay. Yeah. And then both for Wings. Yeah. You a big fan of Wings, Matt? I'm not huge on Wings. So yeah. We'll see. I had to be honest, I'm really looking for, I know this is going to sound, maybe you guys will be excited. I'm going to be looking for very inexpensive hardcover and trade paperbacks. I'm also going to be looking for, things that are sealed. I'm also going to be looking, Matt, I got your back. Matt, can you give me an answer in chat? I'm going to look for those Exo Manowar Unconquered physical floppies for you to see if I can find them. I haven't had a chance to go look, so I definitely have you on my radar screen. I know you were like, hey, I'll give those a whirl if I can find them. I saw them online, but they're still very expensive because of shipping. No one had a run yet. So, but I know they're on like issue 3 or 4. So, liked Wings, watching it, but the repeats never appealed to me. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Sweet. Yeah. Awesome. Padawannabe is in the house. Hey, buddy. Thank you for signing back up again. I know you've been a member in the past. Awesome to have you re-up and that kind of thing. And if you're free to hop in here and chat about some stuff, feel free to let me know. And I'll get you a link. Hook you up, Chris. Thank you, brother. I appreciate the support all you guys do to make this fun. And you know, it's been nice. I dabbled. You guys made it possible for me to dabble with Restream to see if it was a better service for me. So I was paying for that, and I've dumped that now. I don't want to waste any more money because even though I like the dark mode, even though I like some of the other sharing features, it had other chat issues that wasn't going well. I didn't like that. It had microphone issues. There's a video I did where I finished. I went to upload it. As I was testing it, it just switched microphones, and I don't know why. I didn't do anything. It's all plugged in, and the next video was fine. So, but I really want to try to be a good steward of the money that you guys are donating and all of that. I appreciate it so much and all your support. And I need you guys to let me know what you guys want me to talk about, what you guys want me to cover, those kinds of things. I try to do my best to work through those to-do lists and recommendation lists and things like that the best I can. So, yeah, there's like some sort of like quasi Wings reunion going on here. That's for sure. So, Iron Casters, the Shark Casters are in there. Good job, AC. Appreciate that. Yeah, Gina was one of the ones that had bowed out. I saw that email actually. Had kind of come across, so I was kind of disappointed in that because it would have been kind of cool. And even though I wasn't really going to stand in that line, it would have been kind of cool to do a video to show the line. Is that something you guys would want to see? Let me know. You guys got to give me something in chat. Give me like ones or thumbs ups or something. Would you like me to do? I don't know that I want to go live, but I wouldn't mind doing a video, and then I'll upload the videos of what it's like there. I could walk around and talk about different things. You can't really just walk up and just start filming some random celebrity, but I could do some different videos from the con at night on that Sunday evening. I'm actually not headed back to the farm. I'll actually be headed here in the city. So I actually plan on doing a stream like this one, some sort of like Tampa Con, post recap or something like that from my day. Maybe I could show stuff if I buy anything, those kinds of things. So catching up at 1.5. All right, Chris, you hang in there, bro. Let me know you want in, man. Let me know if you want in. So if you want to bounce some comic talk, let me know. Do you want me to schedule that, or you want to come in and chat now? You let me know, buddy. I would love to schedule a time with you to do be my comic talk guest. Let me know. Can you DM me what times work for you? I just don't know your scheduling, things like that. So AC is like, yes, on seeing con videos. Cool. Okay. All right. So I will do that for sure. And I will probably not treat them. See, the thing with shorts is you have to tell it like, I don't know, it'll just be videos, but it'll be on my phone. So I'm not going to take a camera there. I'm not going to do editing on that, but I could do my phone and like, all right, here's this. Maybe I can ask some of the vendors to photo some different comics or different things going on. So yeah, I'll do some photos like that, do some videos and drop them. That sounds fun. Matt says you come in now. Cool. Let's do that. Let me get that invite going for you, buddy. Be awesome to have you hanging out for a minute. See what's going on with you. So I'll get you this link for 1 second. So yeah, no, I'm really excited about being able to do that again. Haven't done the convention thing much. Kind of been taking a little bit of a hiatus from that and that kind of thing. So let me just quickly touch on the Shark Week content. So you guys, a couple of you have DM'd me. I'm getting ready to record the reef. I finished the reef. Haven't recorded 40 meters down or USS Indianapolis either. So those are the three that are sort of like they're coming up. Definitely get at least one of those, if not two of those for Tuesday's show, because Tuesday is like throwback day. So that'll be two, at least one. I know reef will be done. Maybe get two of those for that shark thing. Shark Week schedule has dropped, and they talk about it being on Max. I'm hoping that I don't have to watch them like in real time. They'll just be available on Max as well, and I could do some reviews and things like that. But if there's any other Shark Week stuff, that kind of thing. So, AC mentioned Justin is lost. Yes, I not only know what happened, I actually messaged him like, "Hey, buddy, thinking about you." Did the whole tweet thing at YouTube, that kind of thing. It just totally stinks, man. It stinks. So. Matt, brother, what's going on?
Not much, bro. Just doing some work, doing the most tedious thing possible I have to do at work, which is every day I have to go up to the list of people who are being terminated from my gigantic company and Even though they have nothing to do with my application, they send it to everyone. So we'll have to check off that we looked at it. Hundreds of people every day I have to go through.
Mecha Godzilla's there front and center, and we'll talk some nerd stuff all we can. Sounds great, man. Yeah, it's awesome. So, but yeah, no, just hanging out. There's San Diego Comic Con's this week. Shark Week's coming up. I got my con I'm coming to. Figured I'd take a pause. I don't want to do a whole video on the Snow White thing, but I was just like, oh my gosh, how low have we fallen?
They should call it not Snow White, like in parentheses, not Snow White.
Oh my gosh. And just the idea of the like, they're not even dwarves. Like this whole thing, it's just the absurdity level is just off the chain. Like, I don't even know. I guess for me, I'm having a hard time even imagining it going through so many people and getting to that point. But I guess
it's like, see, this is the thing. Like, I mean, I want to avoid the politics, but the people on that small segment of that particular political viewpoint, they don't understand. Like, they don't even care about real diversity, right? If they care about real diversity, we would be getting stories based on other cultures with really interesting stuff. I just picked this up, for example, because I haven't read a lot about African folklore, and there's a whole bunch of African folk tales I want to read through and learn about it. Like,
sure.
There's some movies and shows about this. How come Neil Gaiman, a white British guy, is the only one who does stuff about it?
I don't know.
There is some fantasy and science fiction novels out there that I want to look into as well. Although one of my favorite sci-fi authors is Octavia Butler, a Black American writer, wrote some really good stuff that I read over the years. What I'm getting at is there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. Like, I can't remember the princess's name, but it's an Iranian folk tale. It's not in 1001 Nights, as far as I know. But she was a woman. She had to become a warrior because of some sort of invasion that was going on, like an invasion, counter invasion. And she's a legendary, heroic female, actual female heroic figure. You know what I mean? Do a movie about her. Like all this, like taking existing characters and changing something else. That's not real diversity. You don't make a different soup by taking the same soup, taking out all of one ingredient and making them all homogenous, and then serving more people.
Yeah. They're trying to walk this back a little bit now. At least there's messages that they might be trying to walk this back, but reality is we had already knew some of this was already happening. Like, this isn't like, I mean, they can try to spin this with the whole stand-in things and try and do this, whatever, but some of these people, they're already on IMDb. We know who some of these people are. We know what's going on. So, and it doesn't surprise us at all. It's in line with what else they've been doing. I just don't think that they care. I just don't. And I didn't want to do a whole video on it, so I'll just kind of mention it for a second and then just kind of like,
There's another live action Disney movie. I just saw something about it. I can't remember which one it is, but it's also in the pipeline. And I'm trying to remember what it was. But I remember reading it yesterday and thinking this era is going to be remembered for the worst, like the era of making every bad possible live action Disney adaptation you possibly could have.
Well, they have a ton of them that are in the works. There's a Mufasa one as well, right? So there's a Mufasa Lion King project. There's Moana, right? You've heard about that. Lilo and Stitch, right?
Yeah.
They actually, I don't know if this one's going through. I remember seeing the story that Guy Ritchie was attached to a Hercules project. Now, that's been a while ago, so that may not be kind of moving forward. They also had hired someone about a Bambi project, but again, this is the kind of stuff that will probably die because of the strike and scheduling or whatever. But they pretty much had plans to adapt like 12 more. There was really not anything kind of like off limits to these people. They're completely nuts.
Yeah. Did you remember the controversy with Moana where they hired an actual Hawaiian actress to play one of the girls?
Right, but she wasn't brown enough, right?
Well, in actual, usually she's like Hawaiians are like Sicilians. If you get enough sun, you get darker. You know what I mean? So when she gets sun, she gets very dark. So if the photos are looking like the character for when she's exposed to the sun. But when she's not exposed to the sun, they cherry pick the most white looking photos possible to criticize this actress.
Yeah. Bobby, all I know, I didn't know about Discord. He could have been hacked, or they could have done like a spam job there too. But I know that he got the nasty gram from YouTube. His whole channel was down. And that's the part I know about. What the hacking is in Discord, I haven't really touched base with him yet to see if there's any other updates and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I'm with you, AC. Landmines to the head. Landmines to the head. It's just it's really just sad because they're wasting so much time and money and energy and all of this. They're not making anything good for this generation of children. Disney won't mean the same thing it meant like when we were growing up. Like we grew up in an era where every Sunday night Disney being on TV was a big deal. Watching Disney movies was a big deal. The fact that things would be in and out of the vault through the VHS and into the DVD era was a big deal. Going to their parks was a big deal. They've saturated and made this just sort of a mess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. So
Disney used to be great. I remember when I heard that Disney was getting Star Wars and Marvel, I was like, they'll be great caretakers for these franchises because they have so much product that we love. And then we get this, and I'm only glad now that they're collapsing so completely that they're going to have to sell stuff off.
You know? They're going to have to license stuff for sure. Yeah, Night Ronin, that seems to be where we're going. It seems like they've, from a company that went to, they just want to make money, and they seem like it was all about, you know, spending so much money. Like what they did with the MCU was pretty much what we were all banking on, right? Because we saw they kind of leveled up what Paramount had started, what happened with those projects, and then you got the Avengers and how Phase 2 went. So when Star Wars kind of came in the mix, we were all very hopeful. And I have to be honest, man, I'm not the ones that hated on Force Awakens. I just kind of called it like a ripoff of New Hope, but I wasn't like, this isn't the worst thing. I'm really mad about the Han Solo thing, and they weren't together. I'm like, all right. And then with Last Jedi, I kind of was dumbfounded. Like, what happened? I didn't hate it until I watched it again. And I was like, okay, this is unbearable. I've never watched it since. And then I just couldn't believe that, like, there's so much money to be had. How could they be ruining things like this? And now it's just like the wheels are off. I don't know.
Yeah. They had a license to print money with Marvel and with Star Wars, and they just burnt it for fuel, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's just kindling in the bonfire, man. It's crazy to think about. It really, really is. But yeah, there's so many of these live action projects that probably will die on the hill of all of the strikes and the economics of the time and those kinds of things too, because at some point the money does stop, right? We saw this with like the Tron project, right? The Tron Legacy film died in large part because Tomorrowland failed so dramatically. And the studio was going to buy Star Wars. What's that?
Is there another Tron film that they announced?
Tron. They do. Yeah, they have a new one now. Yeah, they're going to try to move forward now. But again, the writer strikes coming and all of that. So, yeah, they just hired Evan Peters in the new Tron movie. So they're calling it Ares. Okay. And yeah, I don't know. I think that it's a good chance that it may also just die at the feet of the strikes. It just, these things can't stall too long. People have things to get to. So we'll see. So I think the actor one will probably turn around pretty quickly. I don't know about this writer thing, though. The actor thing, I think, will work itself out a little bit faster. So
okay, so here's the one, the Disney live act version that I was most, that I know they're gonna screw up the most. The Black Cauldron.
Oh yeah. There's no way they could do anything good with the Black Cauldron. Yeah, I didn't even know that was in the mix. Yeah. They have any names attached?
No, they just got the rights to do it. For people who don't know, it's based on fantasy novels, the Chronicles of Prydain. So since we know it's based on fantasy in a European setting, we know what they're going to do to it because they did it to Tolkien, they did it to Wheel of Time. You know, they did it, and so they're going to, you know, it gets back to the whole, you know, let's get other cultures involved in the game. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no shortage of material. So, Hornswoggle and Pierce Morgan talking about how they're taking jobs from their community and giving it to normal sized people. No, didn't see that. Didn't see that, Bobby. Yeah, I don't know. These people just everything a brain.
But that's another thing. Snow White, for those who don't know, is based on a folk tale out of Finnish or Danish.
It's Brother Grimm, isn't it?
The Brothers Grimm, but they based on something. The Snow, the Disney animated movie with Elsa.
Herman. Right.
What is that movie with Elsa, the Snow Queen or whatever?
Oh, the Frozen thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's based on the same legend. In any case, the point I'm getting at is it's like a Scandinavian story, right? So
Hmm.
why are we not going hard like into the Scandinavian? The thing is, it's public domain, Snow White. So someone who's very enterprising out there could very well make a Snow White movie. They can't call it Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but it basically will be Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, just
Yeah.
basically completely on the folktale,
Yeah, because they did the Mirror Mirror movie. It was outside of Disney brand. It was just not very good. But yeah.
Did they do
Uh,
the Snow White and the Huntsman movies?
Huntsman, yeah, the Huntsman with Chris Hemsworth movies. Yeah. They need to leave Tron alone. Perfect as it is. Oh no, they will not leave Tron alone. They'll eventually get to it. AC. I actually am hopeful that this strike stuff will kill it again. Because I don't think we're going to have the kind of people there that want to do it justice. But we'll see. But AC now they probably won't leave it alone. No.
In this day and age, Tron will be a sequel would actually be very appropriate. You know what I mean, with all the AI stuff and you know what I mean?
You would think that it would just be like a softball, like it's like teed up to have this sort of conceptual thing that could be very interesting and having interesting commentary. But again, I'll pull it up because I wanted to see who the writer is. The writer's not going to have any experience, or they're not going to be impressive at all, Matt. You and I both know that's going to be what's going to happen. We're going to pull this up, and it's still slated for 2025.
Well, that's my the reason they have all these hack writers now is there's so much content they have to produce for all these streaming services and networks and websites that, like we were talking about Common TV and all that. These websites have programming now, so they need people who should be writing college fan films to practice are now writing things like Obi-Wan, the TV show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're going to credit the original writers. So they give Steven Lisberger and Bonnie McBird credits, but Jack Thorne, I'm assuming, is the one that's going to be the actual writer. He did the Netflix movies. He did the Enola Holmes movies.
Yeah, which I heard were okay.
I've heard that as well. I'm a kind of a snob when it comes to my Sherlock Holmes stuff, so I never gave him a fair shake, but I probably should. Other than that, I don't see anything impressive. I definitely don't see anything that makes me think Tron, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I don't know. He wrote a lot for what's called His Dark Materials. Did you watch that?
I've read it. I didn't like the adaptation, but I read it.
Yeah, so he wrote 22 of those episodes.
Yeah.
So
he's probably just into like a Game of Thrones, too much sex type of thing. Compared to the novels, Well, I get you have to have some of that, but
I think it's just going to be another cheap gun for hire, and it's not going to have the elements that they want. But they've got several cast members attached, so we'll see what happens. I don't know. But yeah, Tron Ares is what that's called. That has been talked about. I did one video when they added Evan Peters, but I haven't really kind of gone back to that to try to do any updates or anything like that. I'm really not sure what there is to say about that kind of thing. So what are your thoughts on the San Diego Comic-Con? We're going to talk about it tomorrow. We're going to pull stories out of Twitter and what have you and that kind of thing. And the actors really aren't going to be there much, if anything.
I think it's suffering from the problem with California. No one wants to go there because of all the other problems in California. Like when I for example, went to Florida, I got really sick from allergies, but I had planned to do some exploring. Aside from the convention I had to go to for work, I wanted to I went there for 2 weeks. The convention was 8 of those 14 days. I said, let me go explore Disney and let me explore the area around there. But I got so sick from allergies, I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? But I wanted to. Same thing, I was going to go to one in California, but then real life health problems stopped that. But I want this is back in 2015, 2016, before California went crazy, And I said, let me go. I was going to go to San Diego. What's above San Diego? Is it Oakland?
Well, Oakland's going to be closer to San Francisco.
It was a city north of San Diego. There was a convention that my work had scheduled. That was related to my work. I was going to go there because it was real close. I was real close to get to the Oakland A's baseball stadium and all that.
Anaheim?
Anaheim sounds right.
Okay. Yeah, Anaheim. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I said, and there was some stuff you want to see, you know what I mean? But now with homeless people and crime and stuff like that, I saw something on a report where people now leave their car windows open so that the people breaking into them don't break their car windows because they're routinely bring just to see what they can steal out of the car. So they just leave them open so the people won't damage their cars now.
They won't damage the car. They look inside. There's nothing to steal. They kind of move on. Got it.
Yeah. And,
yeah, but they're gonna do like the political thing, how it went down too, right? They're gonna have this place cleaned out from homeless people. So everywhere around San Diego Comic-Con. Now, it doesn't mean your vehicle is going to be safe at the hotel, but all of this area is going to be cleaned out and police because they don't want the PR.
A homeless march on Comic-Con.
There could be a homeless march on Comic-Con.
They're planning it. The activists are planning it.
Oh my gosh!
I saw a report about that. That's what got me so. I was laughing because and then I think that's the real reason these corporations are all pulling out because they don't want to be anywhere near what they see is going to go down out there. Well,
I think with the strike they're not allowed to do some of that stuff. Some of that stuff's in the language of the strike and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a freaking
PR guy to show a PowerPoint or whatever and give some work out. And I mean that's just free promote because those guys are already paid. Like if you're a PR guy for a corporation, you're paid no matter what. You know what I mean? So like if they book their PR team to go to Comic-Con, right? Say what was it, July 20th or whatever it is,
right?
And you cancel it, you're still paying him to do. You know what I mean? You've already paid him to do that because it's his salary.
Yeah, he gets paid the same either way.
Yeah.
Oh, they caught him. I was looking it up, Bobby. The vigilante story. I heard that there was a vigilante.
He's called Boots or the Boot, something like that.
Yeah, they caught him. Pull that up. Yeah, he's been unmasked, Bobby. You might be disappointed. So the masked vigilante has been caught. He's nicknamed Boots, walks around the neighborhood in a ski mask and brandishes non-lethal weapon. Looks like a gun. Scares off car thieves. Oh, come on now. There we go. Okay. They didn't identify Boots, but they have identified Boots.
And all he's doing is walking around near the stuff, not even threatening it, with the fake gun displayed, and thieves are running off.
Yeah, he just says he just looks like an authoritarian type dude, and just therefore they kind of scurry away. They don't want to get, yeah.
But you know what's going to happen?
It is. Big fan of the Boots.
The same way that the mob started, Antifa is going to start saying, well, if you pass to protect this street while we're rioting, and they'll have to continue riots and protect certain streets, and they're going to become a new mob.
That was happening already during the protest because they were purposely putting up BLM signs and Antifa stuff on their wood and whatever, just because they were like, "Oh, we're one of you. Don't break our stuff." Right? They're trying to detour looters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But eventually they just start charging you for it, and eventually that's how new mobs come about.
Yeah. Make this a try. Okay, Padawannabe's coming in. Let's get Chris the link. It's good, man. It's good. So. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about some of the Comic-Con stuff. Just it's always just kind of fun to just take a pause, because something at San Diego is like even bigger because they're going to roll out. Hasbro rolls out toys that are coming. You get to see some trailers and things that are coming. So that would be kind of cool to see that stuff and talk about that kind of. That's what we did last year. Lego had a massive display area, of course. Those kinds of things are kind of fun. So we'll do that. Tomorrow night we'll talk about San Diego Comic-Con. So
yeah, I'm mousing over the entire Comic-Con schedule right now, seeing.
Yeah, I didn't really want to spoil what was going to be left until tomorrow. So you probably may be ahead of me on some of the. I have the blog. There's a guy who does a blog and he has a Twitter feed. I have all that earmarked to kind of go through to kind of get more of like what actually is happening. But that'll be tomorrow night. We'll be doing that. So, but yeah. I don't want to put you on the spot now, but so DM me like when your schedule could be in the evenings like this, so we could do a comic talk. We could record one. That'd be great.
Well, my schedule is 100% flexible, other than I have a 7:30 Monday morning meeting, and once a month my server reboots on like Thursdays from like 10 a.m. to noon. So otherwise,
we could definitely work it out then. We'll figure that out. That'd be great. We've talked about it a couple times. Talked about doing different kinds of things, and never happened. So.
Plus, we could talk about those older comics, which, I mean, it's 50, 80 years of comic books. If you don't like the modern stuff, there's plenty of hundreds of issues.
Oh, I prefer that. I'd rather put together, it's either just you and me, or we put together a panel and we just talk about, some sort of, like we did Old Man Logan, which was a huge hit for people because there's a ton of people who were like never knew how great it was. And again, I'm not going to completely bash the sequel and even the early part of the series. They're not the worst thing in the world, that's for sure. But the original Old Man Logan, Mark Millar stuff is fantastic. Dave Bob's in the house. Hey, Dave Bob. Dave Bob, listen, you've never been on my show. If you want a link, brother, you let me know. I will hook you up with a link. We'll get you up in here too, Dave Bob. Padawannabe, waiting for you, man. This thing just disappointed me. Here's the most Hasbro giving out QR codes. Big G.I. Joe fan. I got their booth. First 5 minutes, and they gave out all the QR. So in 5 minutes, everything was gone? Wow. That stinks, Bobby. That just stinks, man. That's just crap. Dean Grant's in the house. Hi, Dean. How you doing? Also a member. Thank you, brother. And Dean, if you want a link, let me know. I'll get you a link when we come in here and you can hang out. We can talk about some stuff, whatever you guys want to talk about. So, but yeah, this is going to be kind of rest of my July. It's going to be obviously doing the Comic-Con thing, the Thursday show, but then I'm going to the show in Tampa, and then of course Shark Week content. So kind of immersing myself in the frivolousness that is Shark Week. So, it is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, Old Man Logan's fantastic. Yeah, AC. We broke AC in on it, and he's like, "Wow!" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's completely nuts. How crazy that book gets. It's a lot of fun." AC, I didn't do a video. AC had read Craven's Last Stand. Do you remember that, Matt?
Yeah, that was great.
It's great because of how it kind of goes. But I have to be honest, I agree with him too. The first couple issues are just sort of like tedious and wordy, and it's almost like they're just kind of made it more convoluted than it needed to be. But obviously once it starts going, you get into the last half of the story, it is really, really good with the great twist at the end. Of course, no one really expected anything like that to happen.
So the thing that made Craven Last Hunt great, right, is, see, now we were comic books who read through it at the time, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So we read for what, 30 years, well, not 30 years, you know what I mean, like decades of Craven being a joke B-lister character, right?
Yep.
And then out of nowhere, he comes out with a very serious, awesome storyline, right? So this movie that's coming out for it, I don't think it's going to be it may be a good movie. I don't know. Sony's been doing okay with their adaptations of Marvel, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as impactful because there's no previous examples of Craven being that sort of less serious character to step up. That was a big element of it when he went from sort of the B-lister comic character to the A-lister villain, serious villain. Like that was a part of that story that made it very impactful.
I think more than that too, though, is don't forget, like, certain things when they were final. I'm trying to like speak in code, but I don't know. I guess you kind of have to spoil it. If you ended up dead in comic books, you stayed dead. There was not. Now it's like there's no such thing. Like everything comes back now. It's just ridiculous. But we grew up in an era where like the whole point was that you didn't have that happen, because if it did, it was a big deal. And then they kind of got away from that. So
the only person that ever brought back is Captain Marvel.
That's true. He has stayed dead, hasn't he? Yeah. Dean, I don't get to recommend. I'm not sure I even consider that modern anymore, because there's almost like ultra modern. Old Man Logan's fantastic. Just get the cheaper graphic novel. Just find that one and to make sure it's something that you enjoy, and then you can decide if you want to try to track down the originals or not. It's a lot of fun. And Dave Bob, totally get it, man. Totally get it. In his prime, get it. The word salad. So that's definitely the case, AC, in that first couple issues of the Craven story. Like, when it kicks off in like Web of Spider-Man and stuff like that, you're like, golly. But anyway, the man, the myth, the legend. What's that?
Angry Canadian said you sent them a Ghost Rider comic. Which series?
That would that's the 90s. That's the 90s Tashira one.
Sons of Midnight, Ghost Rider.
No, the actual 1990 run, the actual Dan Ketch.
When they were under the Sons of Midnight.
It crosses over to Midnight Sun. Yeah,
when he was Vengeance.
Right. Correct.
That's what I was going to say. I love the original Ghost Rider series from the late 70s, early 80s so much.
Yeah.
It's like everything I like about horror comics is there.
Yeah. Pretty much all of the OGs. Chris, my brother, how are you, my friend?
Hello, doing well. I'm using the noise reduction option because I need my windows open where I'm at. So if it starts sounding weird, let me know. I'll change the setting.
Okay. We're going to be good. Great to have you with us hanging out, that kind of thing. And if
Thank
anyone
you.
else that's a member, you want to come up in here, kind of give me a little signal, let me know. I'll try to get you that. So,
Very fun.
yeah, that's Dean. Dean's talking about the Broods here. Yeah, some good X-Men references right there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, buddy, how you been? What's going on?
Doing well. Trying to beat the heat at the moment. Doing a lot of outside projects. We've been putting a gate in and doing some yard work, moving plants around and stuff like that. So
Cool.
wearing myself out, and it's super hot right now, so it's time to take a break.
Fair enough. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. This is my break because when I go to the farm, Mrs. Pops does all that to me. We're like, golly, Monday, man, it was like the goat breaks the gate and this is over here.
Oh,
Oh my
goodness.
gosh, it was completely nuts. It was so hot, humid. It rained. You have 2 hours in between where you're trying to figure out. Because then you're in the house, you're like, what do? You got to change clothes, take a shower. You can't lay around, sit
Yeah.
around. You're completely drenched and
Yeah.
summer.
That's I
It's
mean,
been a
you're
rough
in
one.
Florida. I can't believe I'm saying it's hot. But
It's okay.
those are a few states like Texas, Florida. It's like hats off to people that live there because I can't handle air conditioning's fine, but you still get soaked walking from the parking lot into the store. You're like, it's sticking to me. I already have my seatbelt stain on my shirt, and so hats off. I give you credit.
Oh well, So, yeah, Dean, that's a great era, man. That's the sweet spot for me back in that time frame. So, waiting on that new Justified review. Has anybody watched it yet? No, I don't know. Roman of the Empire said he was going to be watching it. Matt, did you get to it yet? I didn't. I
haven't
thought it
queued
premiered
up.
tonight.
Well, we're not talking to you. I'll be watching it right now. So
Okay, all right.
I
Is it?
have yet to watch that, but I've really wanted to start it for quite a while. I just kind of keep putting it off.
Fun show.
the original?
The Justified series, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the first couple seasons are amazing.
Yeah.
But definitely the early events.
So I figured me and my wife, that would be a good one. She just burned through those Yellowstone shows like they were nothing.
Did you like Yellowstone?
She watched them too fast. I couldn't keep up. I showed her the first one, and then she's like, "Can we watch the next one?" And then like the next day, she was already near
She
the
left
end.
you behind.
And yeah, she does that a lot.
You put her in
But-
timeout, man. That's not
But
fair.
the way my work is, I kind of have to be ready at all times. So it just kind of works out that way.
Yeah.
But then, so I was like, well, if you saw that one, and then I was like, watch the other, because there's another prequel that came out. But I don't think she's actually watched the Yellowstone series yet. Just the couple.
Well, Matt and I
prequels.
think we both agree. 1883 is the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's superior to even. I mean, a lot of people are arguing the 1923 for me, and I'm like, well, listen. First off, it's not a complete story because they stopped. I
Yep.
can't. That's my biggest complaint with the Yellowstone franchise is, and technically, Chris, it's season 1 and season 2 of Yellowstone, and then 3 and 4 of Yellowstone, and then 5 they've had a break. But
Mhm.
in 1923, it stops, and the part 2 hasn't come out yet. So.
Well, but
No.
and it's going to be season 2 of 1923. It's not just going to be like 1924 or whatever.
Right, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. But
And I
yeah.
almost want to say I heard it could just be because they're doing another season, but I want to say I almost heard there's could be another Yellowstone spinoff.
There's at least 3 more coming out.
Oh, is that okay? Then you
There's,
already know about that. But
there's-
then again, I guess Costner. So there's even if the writer strike wasn't going, there's still problems because I guess he wanted to leave. He was doing.
Well, he has
kinda
ownership
doing
in
other
it.
Stuff.
Oh yeah, he's got a big franchise thing he's doing separately to this big epic thing
So,
he's working
yeah.
on. So he's got to go through.
Did I freeze or did you
Is
guys
that-
freeze?
Well, I'm here too.
I'm
Oh,
okay.
there he
You
is.
froze up,
He
you froze up for a second,
froze for a
Pops.
quick second.
Oh, okay.
It looked like it
Dean-
on my side.
Dean Krantz says that's about Justified. It's a mini series. Matt, how many episodes is it? Do you know?
I thought it was 6 or 8. I had to double
6
check.
or 8. I don't know either. Yeah.
It's basically like a season 7 of Justified, and if it does well, they'll adapt other books that Raylan was in or could. Like this book it's based on is not a Raylan book. They're replacing the main character of that series, which was a detective, with Raylan basically. I'll have to double check because if they did, or they just shoehorn Raylan in to make it season 7 of Justified. And the plan is just if it's successful, they'll adapt some other books as standalone seasons, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm going to try to watch that tomorrow, and maybe we'll get a review out by Friday. Not sure I'll get to it in time, but wow, midday Bob still having electricity problems out there in the South. That's brutal, man. I am so sorry to hear that too, man. I've heard you're not the only one. I've heard a whole bunch of people talking about these massive outages for 2 and 3 days at a time, stuff like that. That's just miserable, man. That's just
And
miserable.
is that heat oriented?
I don't know. I don't know all the stories. Dave Bob, do you let us know what yours was related to?
Because I'm curious if they're having problems or if they're doing those brownouts that they do. But I don't know if it's a thing where he is. I know in California it was a real big deal.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a problem in the East Coast section of the U.S. Having a brown stuff out. It's usually a West Coast state, particularly California thing. Have to brown people out due to environmental reasons, basically.
Yeah, they have limitation on their resources.
Yeah, we're working with old equipment.
So, yeah, Justin recommended Silo to me as well. It's an Apple Plus show, so it's a little more challenging for me to get to it to watch it. It is floating very quickly to the top of the list, Night Ronin. So we'll see. I'm in the middle of doing a rewatch. Well, I did a rewatch. I'm doing videos on Stranger Things, and then I'm doing video and rewatches on Black Mirror. Then, of course, Justified is dropping. So I'm just trying to fit something like Silo in. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming at some point. I'm not opposed. I've heard good things.
I tried Silo. I was I'm not. Maybe people say it's good, so I'll try to get Matt to watch 2 or 3 episodes for. But the first episode just didn't appeal to me for some reason. So I have to give it.
And I missed from season 2 because it was out there for me to watch, and I just didn't get to it because I was doing other stuff. And now it's been pulled, so now it's a hassle to watch. So it's like it's just not. Well, it's just not as easy to get to for me. Okay. It's there, I can do it, but Dean, I get it. Trust me. Well, every one of these shows has pros and cons that would definitely not be for everyone. Like if you're not into Westerns, I mean, this stuff's not for you. Like there are some nuances. I just thought that it reflected the eras pretty well, but I definitely get it, Dean. So Dave Bob says that electricity issue is a storm, not rolling brownouts, blackouts, or anything like that. So yeah. And Dean says he had a storm. Storm was down as well. So yeah.
I just remembered. I actually did see RRR the other day. I watched it.
Oh, you finally got to see RRR?
Yeah, I watched it.
What was your thoughts?
I guess I was a little thrown off by the musical numbers they had in it, but they weren't like thrown in like a musical. Like they did have the story built up to the numbers and the dancing, so it makes sense there. And I was like, well, not thinking this is kind of a Bollywood influence, their film industry and things like that. So it makes sense. It was good. I just saw it was like sometimes they're really strong and sometimes they weren't as strong, and that I wasn't sure that. And like,
they're super strong.
And I was just like thinking, well, do they have super strength, or is this like those old
I know.
Japanese warlord stories where they just defeat 200 warriors one day, So I was
culturally, it takes some getting used to. First off, you're right about the music, but this is why S.S. Rajamouli's movies, especially the 3 of them, the Bahubali movies and RR, he found ways to incorporate the music. It felt more natural, like they're going to a wedding, so there's a singing dance number, and the one guy's like he's singing while he's being held captive, and whereas other movies like Pushpa, the movie stops, the character's in the crowd, and the next thing you know, he's on stage, and you're like, what is happening?
It's like a flash mob.
I'm like, what is? Yeah, it's so strange. So it takes some getting used to. And yes, the way they treat the action hero like we treat like a Marvel superhero, but it's more inconsistent. Like he can throw a motorcycle, but he couldn't break that rope. Like I'm confused.
There was a few things, and it's like, why doesn't he just break out of this right now? I don't understand. So. And this movie made me realize that I have a problem with like that over the top brutality. Like
Oh,
when they show her taking a log to the head in the beginning, and he's like, "Don't waste that bullet. Do this," and it's like, whoa, that was hard to watch.
Yeah, there's
because I
definitely some
just
stuff they don't
because
shy
I'm
away
thinking,
from. We do.
yes, it hits me like, yeah, it was that bad, and to think that's where we were. Because I don't understand that perspective, like your
Cultural
color,
stuff too.
or even just because you're anything you think you have are better
Okay.
than anyone
So,
else. So
I would only want you to take note of this. Don't watch this one. Sardar Udam, you might get recommended of how great of a film it is, and it is. It's like an India. It should have been an Oscar-winning drama. It's a historical piece. Because of what you just said of not wanting to see that level of violence and that type of realism.
I can watch it, but
it's saving Private
me.
Ryan Hacksaw Ridge graphic.
But I was
it's
talking
insane. It's amazing.
I was talking about this last night. Like we had got on Underwater, and I said Underwater creeps me out, like because you guys were talking about Shark Week and all that. I said in real life that stuff really gives me anxiety, like being underwater and I can't see everywhere. But the Descent movies were almost a stopping point for me. I watched them, but that underground cave diving where you're pushed up against the edges of the cave and you're just sliding your equipment through, and that I actually had to stop watching that a few times. I was like, I need some time.
Wow.
So there's a few things, but this I'll take a look at that one. I can watch it, but it's like I don't often get that. There's a lot of violence in movies that we watch in normal action, but I've never. This one, it's just like, whoa, okay.
Well, but I think
it's a different level.
But that's a good topic to talk about because like that's a button for you that gets pushed where it's kind of a thing. Like Dean was talking about why he didn't care for, 1883 or what some of the talk was. He just didn't care for some of that. And then he also talked about how a little bit of a, granddad times, that kind of thing. That's really cool. I have to be honest, Dean, I kind of connected to that as well. I thought about ancestral type stuff. That kind of thing. So Dave Bob's throwing down with the John Wick reference. Here we go.
If you want an Indian film that's so I used to my job before this was I was kind of a scheduling coordinator for nursing supervisor at the hospital, and I worked the night shift. It was my healthcare job, and so one of the supervisors was an old Indian woman. So and the night shift in that job, there were 3 or 4 hours where I would study or whatever, but we would wind up watching TV, and she would watch a lot of Indian TV, which was on PBS, and she would translate live for me, So I watched a lot of Indian TV shows and Indian movies, There was one, which is at the time I found out later, the highest grossing Indian film of all time, and it did the best action comedy. It was in 2010. The English translation is Robot. And it's called Enthiran. It's kind of long, so it's like a really, for an American audience, I watch it in 2 chunks, but it's amazing. Like it's visually amazing as The Matrix was.
What is it called? Spell it for me.
Enthiran. And
Oh,
it might show up as Robot in YouTube for the clip for a trailer.
That's fine. I remember some different things that have been recommended to me. I don't remember this one per se.
Well, this hit before all. I mean, I know about it because of my circumstance with Missoula. You know what I mean?
No, but they recommend. Oh, Matt, let me tell you what. I had to take a break from the Indian stuff because number one, we have a hard time finding them. People, they don't want to hear this, but here's the truth: we have a hard time finding them with subtitles. You're definitely not going to find them dubbed. I don't really want them dubbed. I'd rather have subtitles, but you can't find them subtitles. They're all 3 hours long. It's so rare they're less than 3 hours long, and then. Like Padawannabe said, there are like massive segments where there's not a lot that's happening and they break out in song. And I'm like, I spent 30 minutes of my life to get nowhere. Like, you guys, this is not how Western cinema works. So it's hard for us to engage that. And I think that's where some of this stuff comes from. But I'm always interested in one that could be good. So
there's the Wikipedia link for it.
Yeah, I pulled up a little bit. In there.
Like, it's serious and comedic at the same time, It's also very applicable to AI stuff we have going on now.
Yeah, and the RRR, the dance sequence, that wedding, or they go to the gathering, the big party or whatever.
Yeah,
it
the
is.
wedding. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now we're in a dance off. And the dance off was longer than everybody else was doing it.
Yeah, I mean it was like trying to come up with a contrived way to put this stuff in there. And it's funny because one of the people in my chat, I kind of got to know at least a little bit back and forth. They messaged me through Twitter, and I kept asking for like, how do you translate certain words? I don't want to misspeak. This is what I think, blah blah blah. So little things like that. So I would at least be less offensive. By the way, sorry if they don't want to hear this. They're totally cool with being racist. They literally have tags that say, RRR reaction by white people. Bahubali's review by white foreigners. It's like they literally have tags that do these kinds of things. So they would add. They literally. That's part of the reason I have the subscribers I have. But for the record, for those of you who know, I probably have 700 subscribers that are from India and Pakistan, that general area,
wow.
because of those reviews. So I definitely did about 10 to 15 of these movies, and I did enjoy I did enjoy most of them more than our entertainment, but way more than a lot of it. So I have a recommendation list that I kind of put into a spreadsheet. It's like there's like 50 films on there, Matt. They date back like 30 years.
Yeah.
I had a guy at work. He just asked me about one that's from 2016. So,
yeah,
but I wrote this one back down to see if it's on that list or not.
Yeah. The dance thing was funny. Like when Miss Sulu was telling me about it, the first time I ever saw it was a movie. So it was like a visual depiction of the Hindu their oldest spiritual book about some wars of the gods and all that. And in the middle of gods fighting, they broke down and danced. And I was like, Mrs. Sulu, what is going on? I said, the Indian films are like that. They dance every time. They'll be talking, all of a sudden they'll start dancing.
Yeah, I guess I got my ADD derailed some of my thought process there, because I was going to say that this person told me, he said, listen, Pops, stop complaining about it, because this is what they expect. They expect the song and dance numbers. They expect the over-the-top alpha males. They expect some of these kinds of things. There are some great moments. I mean, if you've watched any of our reviews on it, you'll know that we kind of have a blast watching them, because they are a lot of fun. So, and Zach's is in the house. How you doing, brother? And Zach, by the way, if you want a link to hop in here, I mean, I know you always have a lot going on. Again, time zone stuff, family stuff, things like that. Got it. But doors open, man. Doors open.
And referencing what you were saying about this is what their culture expects in the movies. To be honest, it's not much difference in it than what we had, like Singing in the Rain era. They were movies, although they were musicals, but there are some movies where there's not as many songs, and they try to tie them in different. It's just we didn't get this crazy technology to make those movies, and they do. So it's like, this is what they're doing at this time. It'll be curious to see how their industry goes along over the next year, because it's obvious that it's getting more and more accepted very quickly. It seems like exponentially.
They have a lot more
fed into ours.
Action films that feel like the 90s. Like if you like the 90s action feel of things.
Pops froze up again.
Who doesn't? Oh, there it goes again.
He's a frozen Pops.
Nope,
I'm frozen.
It's just a visual, and it only lasts like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, let me do that. Maybe that'll make it a little bit better for everybody. At least I won't be distracting by the fact that I could be frozen or whatever. It's storming in here in Florida, so I mean that is in large part what's happening. Yeah. It's not there. I don't have anything open or running or anything like that. It's just the weather.
Are you on fiber or are you wireless? Or?
No, I'm on fiber. It's slower than it normally is, but it shouldn't be roboting. Sorry, I was just pulling a speed test to see.
Fiber usually doesn't get affected by thunderstorms.
It's Florida though. We get all sorts of issues, so who knows?
And it definitely wasn't consistent. It was just those 2 times for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's several of those films that have that sort of action feel. But again, they have the music. They have so it's just listen. They're not going to be for everyone. Like trust me. I have my circles that go round and round with me over about anime, and I'm like, I'm just having a hard time connecting in some ways. I just, I'm not saying I hate it. It's just, I have a harder time connecting.
Well,
It's
I
just,
can completely understand that, being a Star Wars fan and liking the Clone Wars series. And some people are like, well, I can't watch it just because it's a cartoon. And I'm like, I can totally understand that. I can get it. You're missing out, but I understand.
Yeah, and Dave Bob, people talk a lot about like it was a gimmick to review those movies to get views and subscribers. And I reviewed it because I heard it was a good movie. And then I heard, oh, why, if you like that movie, you'll like these two movies. And my subscriber and stuff like that went crazy. But I did that stuff like 3 months after it had come out. It wasn't even in theaters when I reviewed it. And someone messaged me as well and just said, well, they'd have like 1 billion people. So, I mean, just the fact that there's that many more people there means you're going to get that many more eyes. Like, so even when I reviewed sort of lesser name or less popular older ones, I could get 1,000 views or whatever, just because there's just that many more people over there. So,
and I actually watch a lot of reaction videos, not so much the movies, but like you were saying, how you were getting a lot of hits, those other reactions, all the different channels do seem to cycle through. Like, you'll see it on one channel and then it rolls through all the other channels within the next couple weeks. And then it'll be some other movie. Like, they were all doing Tropic Thunder just a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
And it was on, and it was on like 15 different channels. And those, I like seeing that, because you get a group of black guys watching that movie and they're just completely laughing, and they actually have a discussion what's going on. They're like, you totally couldn't do this movie now, but I don't have a problem. They understand how it's more of an homage. It's more of a compliment rather than we're making fun like they used to do. It wasn't the traditional blackface that they were doing.
How long until
watching a lot of those?
How long until someone breaks it and does it anyway, Matt? How long do you think? How long we take before someone goes, you know what? Screw it. I'll make the next Tropic Thunder. I'll make the next Hangover. I'll make the next. It can't be that long. Someone's got to be able to be like, you know what? Screw it. I'll go for it.
Well, I think
to
they're
put blackface
trying.
in perspective. Blackface comes from when the fact that there used to be every face, not just blackface, white face, pink face, green face. Like they put that heavy makeup on everyone to look like. But what survived was blackface and yellowface, which was West European people playing black people and Asian people,
right?
And you got to understand, like if you were in, say, I don't know, Africa, all black people doing European play, they would wear whiteface, So it was just an acting thing. It was just a tool of the trade, and then it got turned into some horrible racial thing because racists like to make anything about race,
So who breaks it? So how long, and who's the kind of person that'll break it?
Well, Dave Chappelle already did.
No. Someone will make a feature.
Well,
someone talking about someone's going to be.
I don't think you guys saw it, but I actually went and saw the film The Machine, and it is made by a stand-up comedian. So they are kind of aware of what's happening in Hollywood, and they kind of just made their movie. They funded it.
Is that the Burt movie?
Burt Kreischer.
Yeah, that's Burt Kreischer. Yeah, okay.
And for knowing his comedy and knowing him, his podcasts and stuff, I followed him for quite a while. The movie was a much higher quality than I was expecting it to be. It looked great. He did way better than I thought he was going to do, being a comedian. They don't lean into his comedy persona so much, but there is comedy in the movie. And I enjoyed it. I wish it would have done better, but this definitely was, nobody will make this movie. So let's make, I know I have some connections. I know some writers. I know a director. They knew some people at Legendary, and they were able to make it happen. And again, because of his connections, Joe Rogan and all these people, they had the movie done. They filmed it during the pandemic, and they had it done, and it was kind of sitting there. And he's like, I don't know what's somebody asked him. He's like, I don't really know what's happening. And they're like, well, let's make it happen right now. So they kind of started talking about it. And he's like, we already have a trailer. He's like, let's play it. So they actually played the trailer on Joe Rogan's podcast, and they and it got the thing greenlit. They're like, okay, Memorial Day weekend, it's coming out. So, and it didn't do as good, but it was I think they said 30 million to make the movie. They had Mark Hamill in it.
Yeah, I pulled it up. It said they spent 20 million to make it. They've only made 10 million back. So that's not. Yeah.
So,
I don't
but they
know.
already have some other movies. Like the next movie they're really trying to push for is called Fat Astronauts.
Okay.
So they're kind of trying to bring
There's a few people
go.
out there that are going to do
Yeah,
that. Okay.
they're
Dean,
trying.
Dean, I'm with you, man, and I'm hoping the strikes just keep going. At this point, I know it's going to create even more chaos or whatever, but reality is this: one, it's the only way we're going to get their attention. It's like they just, we're not going to care. We're going to carry on. And to be honest, Matt, you and I talked about this for like 2 hours one time. There is so much. There's a lifetime of good stuff to enjoy anyway. There's no reason to get bent out of shape. We'll just carry on. So it'll give us, again, that's why I'm watching Black Mirror again. That's why I'm watching, Stranger Things again. Why I'm watching Black Mirror. We mentioned we talk about Justified. There's tons of good stuff to watch. We'll do that. We'll do videos on that.
Yeah, and also like this strike only applies to the U.S. and Canada. I mean, I'm surprised I didn't find these two movies years ago because they're right in my alley. But I just found two movies from Korea called The Witch Part 1, The Subversion, and The Witch Part 2, the other one, which are sci-fi horror films. Very in line with what type of thing I like, but it was action, sci-fi horror action. And they're better than most American films I've seen in the last 10 years, So there's plenty of foreign stuff out there, Indian films, Korean films, Japanese movies, and even some Chinese movies, there's still Hong Kong action films being made to this day. So there's something out there,
Well, and spoiler alert, I have a video coming up about a list of some movies that are not affected by the strike. So there you can get like exceptions. So I will be covering a list of some movies, and again, maybe it's not for everybody. Some of them are faith-based, and they just don't care. They're independent. They're not SAG. They're not part of the union. So there's not. Think of it as sort of like what Gina Carano did with her Western. They're just outside the union. We're not doing it. So they've gotten the permissions to work through a few of the loopholes they have to do. So there's a good 20, 25 movies that are going to move forward anyway. So
what they do with Sound of Freedom.
Correct. So like it's just something that's All right. So
which, by the way,
I hate.
I just looked it up. Sound of Freedom is almost $100 million, and it's still more money than Mission Impossible 7 or 6 or whatever.
Yeah, my wife asked when it would hit 100. I said it will hit 100 by the weekend. I said I don't know the exact date yet. I have to do the math on the dailies, but it got to 85. I actually was pretty shocked that Mission Impossible bombed. I sure didn't see a whole bunch of those videos. I didn't. That's not my type of video. But if this had been a Disney or Marvel film, we should have. All of our feeds would have been blown up with what a bomb weekend it was. They sure didn't do that for Mission Impossible because that was a horrible opening for a film like that on a bigger release.
For the U.S., yeah, but it's going to make its money internationally.
Yeah, I know, but it's still a bomb. But you got my I qualified that, Matt. Come on, you understand what I just said.
I've personally devalued the American box office because a lot of Americans now don't want to pay for how expensive our theaters are.
Yeah, but it had like a $52 million opening, which is a disaster for that film.
No, I fully agree with you in that sense. I'm not saying disagreeing there. I'm just saying with a lot of our American movie theaters being in cities where people don't want to go to anymore or don't live anymore, with all the
other things to do. Other things to do. We're not paying. And you know what? And you know what? There was no way. First off, Mrs. Pops wanted to go see that movie. Tom Cruise, Maverick won her over. Blah blah blah. It's 2 hours or something long. She was no, never mind. Yeah. They can't all be this freaking 2 hours and 30 minutes. No, it can't be that long. People are like, no, I'm not doing that. So. I hate the working actors are suffering. The industry needs a violent shakeup. There will be suffering. Yeah, it does stink, Dave Bob. It really, really does. And what I really want to see, Dave Bob, is I hate it that it's so union driven. I just wish the industry was more 50 states. It wasn't all so New York and California driven, and it would be easier to decentralize. So,
well, I think that's happening though now, with people wanting to get out of California, businesses. I think they're starting to realize. We're starting to see, I know a couple of places in the South. They have growing film companies down there. I was reading about that. Yeah,
Florida keeps trying to get back into that game because it used to be a big hotspot here. They used to have a pretty good, industry going here, but it just died out. The union's not having it. They don't want any part of it. So I pulled this up because Dean Krantz is going to come on. I'm going to get Dean back on. I'm going to get a little panel going on or something like that to do. Like a review on a couple of older films. Like I just want to kind of like I don't want to lose sight of spending some time recommending some of these classics. So Dean, I'm with you. I'm going to try to message you by the end of the week and see if we can try to pick a day that would work for you, brother, and then I'll swing that back around maybe to another person or two, and we'll figure that out, Dean. That's awesome. So, oh, good, Zax. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. Very powerful movie. Any of you who have liked that movie or seen that movie and liked that movie, I do also want to recommend a movie called Priceless. It is probably streaming for free. Faith-based film, but not crazy in your face. I've recommended faith-based films before, and I'm usually pretty fair, I think, about trying to explain. I'm not interested in, beat you over the head Bible thumping type stuff. That's not going to make a good film. I'm still a good, I'm still a critic. This movie is called Priceless. It's free on Tubi. Get a chance to watch that one as well. Tell me what you guys think. Again, uber low budget kind of film. Definitely way lower budget than Sound of Freedom even is. So
is Candace Cameron in it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Candace Cameron DeBure.
Candace Cameron Bure.
Yeah.
She was the one married the hockey player. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I just know she does a lot of those.
No, the Cameron family are very driven. I mean, Kurt Cameron talked about.
Yes, very much.
So he did a film called, what was it called? Fireproof? I think it's called Fireproof. And the husband is like addicted to pornography. It's about breaking all this, about lying to your wife and all that. So whenever, they have the redemption story arc and he goes to kiss the wife, he didn't want to kiss the actress. He actually they shoot it in a shadow. So he kisses his actual wife. They're very Puritan about it all and stuff like that, which is, listen, to each their own. I mean, that's fine. I don't want to kiss anyone other than my wife. So, okay, fair enough. So Dune and Sound of Freedom are the only movies I have seen in theaters this year. Yeah, cool. Recommend. It's good. It's again, Priceless is not nearly as good as Sound of Freedom, but again, there's a quality issue. There's the budget issues. Jim Caviezel is obviously a far superior actor than Joel Smallbone, who's the lead in Priceless. I mean, I'm not going to try to compare the two, but as far as the premise goes, again, based on true stories and like that. By the way, I'm going to do this Shark Week review of this movie called The Reef. Dude, this movie is also based on a true story, but the Australian government wouldn't let them put true story on it because they were afraid it would affect tourism. I had never heard that before. I was like, holy crap. That's true.
Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen this movie. I liked it a lot. It's a little
pretty
slow,
good.
but I liked it a lot. Yeah.
It was very slow. Not a lot of sharks in that first 45 minutes to an hour. Like in a rewatch, I'm like, I could just jump. As long as I remember the premise of the story, just jump 45 minutes to an hour in, enjoy the last part. But very clever with the editing to have the tension build with like real sharks and stuff. But obviously the actors are not in the water. It's really, really done well. Very, very smart for what they were accomplishing. So. Yep. Waiting to watch Run, Hide, Fight. Don't think D-Wire has a physical media. You know what, Dean? I am so glad someone else brought that up. I have no idea why they don't put physical media stuff out there for fundraising reasons. They think it's going to hurt the streaming subscriber numbers, but at some point, they're not. At some point, people aren't getting their subscription to watch the movies. That's a caveat, and they don't realize they could have been making $10 or $15 or more on some of those physical media. So yeah, I'm with you. Jedi Bill's in the house. Jedi Bill, what's going on, brother? And if you want to come up in here, man, always been a big supporter of mine. I appreciate you being a member and all that. Thank you so much. You want to come up here, Bill? Let me know.
Hey, Jedi Bill. And I wanted to ask something because the strike came up anyway, and I'm sure you saw the video of Fran. But my thing is, well, isn't that why? And it could be the strikes and they have different contracts and things, but isn't that why they would do independent movies? Because they wanted to do something with a different person and the industry wasn't allowing them. Can they still, do you think this will kind of create we might see some Hollywood stars in foreign stuff? Or, I don't know if that is even something they care about. Are they just trying to drive their point that they're on strike or, I don't know.
I think that they have the freedom and the ability to do it all anyway. And reality is so much of this content's making it out there. Matt and I we've talked about some of the stuff that we've seen on these streaming services. You were talking about, it's called Witch, right? Isn't it called Witch?
The Witch. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a great. I've heard all these great things about it. Things like that. It's like there's tons of stuff already being done, so they easily could do these things. But reality is, they know their agents are telling them no. They know some of this stuff is death knell for their career. They know it's not going to get. It's like you were saying with the what's the movie you were talking about, The Machine. Totally got panned and destroyed by critics. They're going to do the critics, and they're going to do everything they can to make sure these things don't make money.
Yeah.
So the system is built right now for these just like everything in society right now. Everything is built around these massive corporations, putting the squeeze on competition, making it very difficult, controlling everything. Is it evil genius stuff, or is it just the way business operates? Probably a little bit of both. So yeah, I don't know. I don't expect things to change dramatically, except they can't have their cake and eat it too. You can't talk about how great streaming services are and then not paying people residuals. And you can't talk about AI and wanting to use it to make your credit sequence, but then saying, "Oh, you're not going to use it to write this script," and you can't pay. Yeah, it's a freaking mess. They made a mess for them. They're the ones that did this, so they got to live with it.
Yeah.
There was a Chinese historical fantasy movie called the Wall of the Great Wall, and they paid to have was it Mark Wahlberg or
That's
was
Matt
it
Damon.
Matt Damon.
They paid to have him in. The Chinese people wanted him in the movie, right?
Yep.
And he was fine doing it, and then criticism and you like saying, "Oh, he's culturally appropriating. He shouldn't be in it." The Chinese people wanted him in the movie.
Yeah, they actually asked for him to be in the movie. Yeah,
yeah. The Chinese people apparently love Matt Damon. Apparently love him.
Look at that, Mama C is in the house. Jana, what's going on, lady?
Hello.
Awesome to see you here as well. Lots of love in the chat. Great to see her doing some stuff. Awesome. So what else are you guys taking in that's been good? Let's keep going on the good note. I think we covered all the things I had on my agenda to cover, but
I found a TV show. If you're a fan of pro wrestling, it's called Heels. It stars Stephen Amell, and I think it's his show personal. Like, he's the producer and showrunner.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, Stephen Amell played Arrow on the Arrow show, and it's surprisingly good. It's like it's an inside look at pro wrestling. Like it's a drama, obviously, but it's an inside look at pro wrestling and how it works, and centered on a wrestling family. Because the way it used to work is that, like, to a extent, there still exists. There are all these small local wrestling promotions, like like the Jersey Shore Wrestling League and Jersey Shore Federation. In this show, it's the Duffy Wrestling League down in Florida, and it's his father's wrestling league that he's trying to bring back because the community loved it, and it was and he was raised in it. And this is also semi-true that the father named his kids after playing cards. So he's the Jack of Spades, his brother's the Ace of Spades. It's kind of funny.
that's crazy.
Yeah, because his last
I know
name is
Zach's.
Spade.
I was gonna say I know Zach's has recommended Bear. I haven't gotten around to Bear, but I've also heard great things about that. The cast looks phenomenal. But I haven't got stuff around that. What were you gonna say, Chris?
Well, real quick, I have heard about Bear. I heard it's really good. I've also heard good things about a show called Beef, which is kind of like extension of Road Rage. What was I just going to say? Gosh darn it.
Well, I wanted to share this just because I know I got a couple people who have sent me some things like this. This is ZBR. So if you guys have seen Zombie Box Reviews, he has sent me a couple photos, talk about this. I definitely want to encourage people. Listen, if you've got this stuff going on, just encourage other fans, other people like us, other nerds, share your stuff, share it on Twitter, share it on other social media. Maybe if you have a channel, you could do shorts. I mean, the short doesn't even do anything. Just literally just play a 15-second video of just it being talk about it. Just tell people what it is, or find it is hard. I will admit, copyright free music is really hard for shorts because of the way this stupid thing works. But reality is, share your stuff, do that. So let me, I'm going to go to another photo. He sent me more than one, but I want to mess up by accidentally sharing something wrong here. So I want to try to be, I'm really good, but he shared all sorts of, this is, I mean, I'm not even a Whovian at all, but that's freaking cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's a really, really cool Matt Smith right there.
There's two other TV shows. One is called Joe Pickett. It's kind of another.
What do you think about that? That keeps that. I mean, first off, I was ready to jump in because it was like Joe Pickett starts whatever. Then I'm like, oh crap, it's season 2. It's not season 1. Oh man, I'm already starting. Yeah,
it's okay with really good moments. It's worth watching. You might only watch it ever once, but it's worth watching.
Okay, fair enough.
Has a lot of really good acting in it. It's a slow moving storyline. Like it's kind of like a detective type of
That's
thing.
fine. I get you. I get what you mean. Zach says that season 1 feels good. Is there a season 2?
It's about to come out.
All right, Zach.
I was gonna
get some videos ready, bud. Get some videos ready. Let's go.
I saw Michael Rosenbaum talk to Stephen Amell about his show. It was just an interview on his podcast, and then the show came up. And I guess he actually hurt himself kind of pretty bad doing, just the wrestling stunts because he wanted to do as much as he could. And they had him do this jump across the ring move, like off the turnbuckle. And the first time he's like, I kind of didn't go as far as I needed to, but he didn't think he hurt himself, but he really did hurt himself for a while, which made him upset him because he wasn't able to tape as much. He's like, we had to really kind of pause things for a bit there and do other stuff. Yeah, but he really likes the show.
It's like in the first 5 minutes, he does a coast to coast drop kick from one turnbuckle to two in the bottom.
That might be the one.
Fans might know it as the Van Daminator from Rob Van Dam. Stephen Amell, I gotta give him credit. So there's a lot of times with the WWF and other wrestling organizations where they have celebrities come in to do celebrity matches, and usually Celebrity Hall, they'll do one or two moves, but they'll tag team with pro wrestlers. They'll do one or two moves, but the pro wrestler will carry the show, and the actors learn how to take bumps and show up to do like a big punch at something, right? Stephen Amell is the best celebrity wrestler. He guest starred on a program with him and Goldust. That's one of the Rhodes brothers, not Dustin. The other guy, who's his real life friend, with Goldust, who's Dustin Rhodes, and another guy. They did a tag match, and Stephen Amell, like he was as good as the actual pro wrestlers in the match. So he loved pro wrestling, to put it bluntly, And a wrestler named CM Punk guests on the season 1 of Heels. And he plays a wrestler that was brought into Duffy to have a big show to put. I can want to. I really enjoyed it. I mean, because I know the inside of the business from years and years of watching wrestling. So
These are from Olds Gamer 72. I've had these for a while and I forgot to share them on a different stream, so I thought I would throw those up real quick. Just really cool stuff, and I love seeing people's collections and being able to kind of share that. It's a part of what I enjoy about the YouTube experience is talking dirty and hanging out and doing that kind of thing like we're getting to do here, but also just to see everybody's stuff. So
yeah, I don't want to unpack all my neat stuff living in this apartment. I don't want to get settled into this place. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can't wait.
Yeah, Chris is gonna have like a freaking museum going on. Yeah,
it's gonna be super fun. I'm very excited. I'm really thinking about dipping back into my comics again. Now hearing all these stories and stuff, it's like I should just start over where I started the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you'd be better served just trying to find you. I try to get you some lots and some runs of some OG stuff that's really good. Focus on just that. I wouldn't even worry about what do you have on that 90s run that you're missing? Give me give me a list of the 2 or 3 issues that you're missing. Just pick off a couple at a time. That's how I'm going to approach putting some stuff in, things like that. Yeah. And I'm just flipping stuff. I'm just be honest. I'm just getting ready to just let's get rid of some stuff. So yeah. That's where I'm at. I got to find stuff. I got to find stuff for the right person. That's the other thing I need to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I am down to the stuff that I want to keep.
Is anybody out there into Kiss?
Oh, hell yeah.
I do know some people.
I was born for loving you, baby.
I saw Kiss with Ted Nugent.
I've seen Kiss more than any other band, like 4 times.
Do these need to go to you, Matt? Is that what you're basically saying?
I'm not going to say no, man. I love Kiss.
There you go. All right.
Although, the funny thing, go back to that Psycho Circus one.
There are Psycho Circus ones. There's 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.
So you ever
I
heard
might
of a
have
band
more than
called the
these.
Insane Clown Posse?
Yes.
Okay, so they have a rap lyric where it goes, "F you, Gene Simmons, Psycho Circus, you stole my." Because Psycho Circus was something they invented.
Yep.
All the Insane Clown Posse albums, or the first 8 or whatever, part of this long storyline about the coming of Lovecraftian apocalypse or whatever. But yeah, and then they were into pro wrestling. They had their own pro wrestling league, and I remember way back in like the 90s, they were in WCW, and Mike Awesome had a gimmick in WCW where he drove a school bus to the ring and would have a match on top of it. And Shaggy is the little guy in ICP. So Mike Awesome's move was power bombing people all over the place. So on top of this bus, which is like 15 feet in the air, he power bombed Shaggy, Too Dope, onto the top of the bus. But the top of the school bus is kind of curved. So Shaggy slid along it, couldn't catch it, fell 15 feet to the ground on his head.
Oh my gosh.
He got up and kept wrestling, but he had a concussion. But and everyone was scrambling to try to catch him. Mike dove to try to save him, will grab his leg, and I mean, it's funny because no one got hurt bad. Obviously, like
Right.
you're not gonna laugh if someone got hurt bad.
Janice says, "Sister broke her nose at a Kiss concert."
See, and that's
Wow.
why people say wrestling's fake. No.
Wow. Fun times. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm at like trying to find homes for things or find creative interest. Like I said, I'm going to go to the Tampa show, and I just found out Shane Davis is going to be there. So I have because I know he did Superman, right? But I have one of his other books in the other room. So I'm going to take one of those. If I doesn't have an autograph, I have a sign. But I was maybe I can get him to do a sketch because I have a blank cover.
Ah,
So I'm going to have him. Because you seen these blank covers?
yeah.
You guys seen these? Yeah. So these are actually not cheap. These things are running like $5, but they're really, really beautiful.
Is it
So I
actually,
actually-
like kind of a post? Is it thicker stock or is it
Not
just
really.
like paper?
It's it's a little bit thicker stock. Yeah, it's a cover. So you know how covers are a little
Okay.
bit thicker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because I got this, so I recorded a member stream. So this is going to be very, very fast. So I don't want to spoil my member stream, but yeah. So I got one for my birthday. James Mealy, who does a monthly comic talk with me, sent me for my birthday. This was a blank cover.
Oh, neat.
It's amazing. So
That's
member
so
stream
good.
video. If you're not a member, make sure you are because there's more to that story. That's all I'm going to say. Beautiful.
Pat S out there. I know it's not to everyone's taste. My favorite wrestling league ever was 1990s ECW. I know if you're not into the hardcore wrestling, fine, I get that. But
You and Pat will have to talk. I have no frame of
Yeah.
reference for. I've never been able to get into wrestling. I don't know.
Hardcore wrestling is where they depict the more violent stuff, like using like nails and tacks, and you see some bleeding and stuff like that. Like the higher level of simulated violence,
Oh, I'm such a noob. I'm having a problem, guys. Let me ask can we have an advice moment for a minute? So on Twitter, I'll have tags. I get tagged notifications of something, right? And then I'm like, obviously there's comments within a comment or something. How do I know what this goes to? Like, it's just, it's so frustrating. Like, I don't know how to find what we're talking about.
Interface still sucks. I know Elon is working on a major interface update. That's the only answer I got to that one.
It's so, I'm sorry to whoever, but here's the thing. So like, this is my notification, right? So it pops up. So here's my notification, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the people that's listed. But it's like, then I click it. It just goes to this. Well, yeah, but what is the thread? How do I get to the thread?
Sometimes if I click on them,
Click
so that's
on
the
what?
only thing there, like on like in a blank spot in there.
Yeah, I end up with this. I end up with that. Oh, okay. So I have to click to the. Okay.
I'm literally, that's the same exact one I just scrolled up on. That doesn't always work, however. That's the problem with the interface. In other words, sometimes it works. It'll give you the parent.
No, I'm in it, and we can go. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. I'm trying to click something that looks like it would be hyperlinked.
And it's kind of backwards to what we're used to because obviously you're getting that when you shoot over the link Or, when you go into the conversation and then you're like, oh, this is in the middle of however many comments, or this was the last. So
Yeah, this one
scrolling
did.
up,
Oh, it did work. It just took a minute to load. Okay. All
scrolling
right.
up is kind of weird. I was like,
See?
oh, no kidding, it goes up, but it's
This
opposite
is
of what we
this is
think.
this is why this is important. I learned something today. So.
Well, I found
But
the
I-
scrolling thing by accident.
Oh, see, yeah. So, all right, Janet's got it too. Yeah, but I have to click the white portion in the white, not the actual where the text
Mhm.
is and the names are. It's kind of opposite to what I think I inherently would do. So, Zax is in on the ECW PPV. All right, her kids to get off my lawn. I don't know. I Pat, don't even get me started on social media, man. I tried to bait Pat to get me some help with social. I need a social media manager, folks. If you know someone who wants to run Pops as social media manager, I mean, just oh my gosh, it's so. I just don't. I don't know what to do. I'd rather make videos and talk about stuff. I don't have the time and I don't have the interest in. Hey, everybody, here's my video. Go see it. Blah blah blah. I just don't. I'm like, it's there. But it's like
You
to
need
put
the
it on
little
Facebook.
ones to be a little bit older.
What's that?
The little ones need to be a little bit older for you, and then you could hire
my
'em.
family doesn't care about stuff I do, bro. They're so when you've worked in press and stuff and you've been around enough of this for so long, the kids are so desensitized to it they don't even care. So I've told the story before, but I was at a church event. This is a very, very small church. So there's maybe 300 people there, right? And they have this band there. And I had interviewed one of the musicians that morning for the radio show, right? So we have the whole church youth group there. So it's like 30 kids, right? And they come in to set up their own stuff. That's how small this is. They probably did this on the free. They probably did this pro bono, right, for the church. So I go over there and I'm talking to this musician I talked to that morning, introduced myself in person. And these kids are all freaking out. Like, why is your dad on stage? Why is he talking to this guy? Blah, blah, blah. And I gesture to them and they all start waving. And my kids are not even paying attention. My kids are on their phone. They're like, your dad is like, yeah, that's how dad is. And it's just, yeah. So they being on YouTube or telling them this, they don't care. I get no idea.
Well, it's almost like that ultimate insult when you hear one of their friends say, well, my mom tells me to do this. And they're like, oh, that's a good idea. And you're like, that's what I've been saying.
A little bit. Yeah, I had one recently. Well, I've had two things that happen recently. One of my closest longtime friends said, yeah, I was on your stream and you're on with this British guy, whatever. I'm like, you watched some random stream where it was just me and Ryan talking? Which video are you on? Like, that's so long ago. Like, it wasn't even like a new video I had done that week. It's obviously something in the archives that popped up. Then I had one of my sons who was referring to a Talk Hard episode that has been from like 3 months ago. That's the last of yeah, they're not attuned to what's going on like at all. So.
Well, and people jump in to fandoms at different times too.
Oh, sure.
Anybody that listens to any of those podcasts that are over 1,000 episodes, they're like mentioning, oh, I was going through the archives, like you're saying, just let's watch all these videos today.
Oh, I do get that. I'm not going to mention that person by name. There's somebody in particular when they watch video, and I'm this person too, by the way. Very, very, very common that I will go in your channel and then I'll watch 3, 4, 5 things and leave, and that's it. And a lot of times I don't leave comments. I'm just hitting like buttons and moving on. Sometimes I will, but this is very common. Now, I will say it's also very, very weird to just see the algorithm. It has to be algorithmic. There's no other explanation. Randomly pick up an old video for like a day or two and then leave it again. It's so weird. You'll be sitting there, you do like your last 7 days on your analytics. And I had a video from like 2 years ago, like one of the old, before I was doing this for real, like I was using the other camera and stuff, and it had like 150 views in the last 7 days, had like 150 views. So I looked at the graph and it was just like this spike, and then that was it. It was like 48 hours. I don't know.
How weird.
I don't know what happened. Yeah. So
Well, I'll be watching a bunch of YouTube
cocaine
videos.
awesome one with so this is the reference to the cocaine shark that we did on Talk Hard last night. So I got you. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
I'll be watching YouTube videos or whatever. Out of nowhere, I'll see a recommendation for, like, say, for example, We Are the World, like 1988 or whatever, or I'll be watching a bunch of I watch a lot of homesteader channels. So what the hell? Is it fireworks or a gun? We'll find out. I don't know if you heard the bang or not on my microphone.
Mm-hmm.
That was loud. Like my window shook loud. So anyway, I was watching a bunch of homesteader channels. In the middle of that, I get a death metal video recommendation. I haven't seen that or listened to that band since I was like 10. Like it just pops up out of nowhere.
I must be one of the few people that don't pay any attention to recommends, because when I go in, let's say I'm going to watch people's videos, like right now, I would open a window because I just did this. I don't know that I want to share it because that's probably not cool. But anyway, so I hit subscribe, hit subscription. So it's not going to it's going to prioritize the people that I'm subscribed to. So the live feeds are first, and then it goes through the different videos. I assume in order of how it thinks I'll want to watch them. And then shorts, and then back to other videos. And that's kind of what I watch. I will literally just scroll through this, and then I go down the appropriate rabbit hole. But this one, no, it says I'm subscribed to this. I don't even know who this person is. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. It's all weird living in a world where, this kind of stuff is what's going on. Oh man, I don't know. What about you guys in chat? What else is going on? I never do recommends. Yeah, I don't. I guess recommends are the ones when you're in a video. It's the things on the sidebar. Is that correct? Is that what a recommend is? Is that the appropriate term for a recommend?
Well, since you've watched this, watch this. Maybe you might like these. I get them every once in a while. To me, it's similar to what happens on the streaming.
Yeah, I don't ever watch those. I don't ever watch. So the only time that would work for me would be like if I watch the end of your video and there's like a video or two that you're allowed to make them pop up. You have control now to do those. Before you didn't have control, but now you can go, here's a video or here's a playlist. So those I will hit sometimes, but that's not just the random algorithm stuff. That's not for sure. So.
And maybe that's why mine gives me, because I actually do watch a lot of recommended stuff because it does kind of cycle. Like I said, I watch a lot of reaction videos.
Yeah.
For mainly stand up. So I'll watch, like, I like a certain guy, I like the bits, and it's like, oh, let me see what these people think of it. Do they think it's as funny as I do?
You'll kind of get similar type stuff. It'll go find similar things.
Mine is a very wide range. It's what I would look up stuff that I'm interested in, but then I also do look up stuff for gaming every once in a while. Occasional pet videos.
This is kind of like what would be. This would kind of be like what is on your iPod. Like back in the day, it's like the eclectic music that you would have. Like I'm in the mood for this, but you would end up having like 4 or 5 different genres all in together. It's just kind of fun. Yeah, it's kind of what our
genres.
Yeah. See, I don't even know how to make it pull up like a recommend. That's so funny. I literally have my routine of what I do, and that's the routine.
I was gonna say it could be. I do look at the home, the homepage without just looking at my subscriptions also, so that could be where I'm getting them. Because if you only look at subscriptions, it's gonna be a lot tighter, as you know.
Yeah, I will purge you out if I'm subscribed to you and I don't ever watch your stuff, or I don't really have obviously when you have an account that's been around, I've had this account for over 10 years. So there's stuff that's just I don't even remember. Like I just said, I pulled up one of these subscription videos. I hit this person's name. I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. So I have no idea when I subscribed to that person. And I look at it, I'm like, I don't know who that is. So I just unsubscribe to that person. I don't know who that is. So it's like, okay. Yeah.
Well, I've had a YouTube account since the old YouTube.
Yeah, this is just a Pops channel, but the old YouTube, from the get-go.
No, but I'm saying the channel I use for like I'm on now, the Standard Should Be channel, that goes back to literally like when YouTube came out. What was it, 1999 or whatever? I made it like a month after it came out. That's been, cool. And so then I remember the great changeover when Google bought it, and they're like, well, we have to restart all your YouTube stuff and whatever, so you have to make a new YouTube account. But then a bunch of us were ticked off about that. So, but if you had an account for more than 10 years, we'll grandfather you in, and So I was okay with that until they somehow messed me up when I made the Unbearable account, and now the Tad That Shouldn't Be is a brand account for Unbearable, when it should be the other way around.
I purged my YouTube videos a while back.
Well, I didn't have videos, but I had humongous playlists and everything of all the stuff I liked. So
How
if I
many
wanted to
people
see
are
a whole
you
video-
subscribed to?
Me?
How many people do you think you're subscribed to?
Over 659, 660,
Wow.
almost 700 basically.
I thought I was subscribed to a lot. It says I'm up to 363.
I'm only over 100.
I have some people I
363
keep
is too many.
even though they haven't done like Spoonie. I don't know if you know who Spoonie is or not, but even though he hasn't done a video of the type I like of his on that account for like 10 years now. For legacy, I keep it because I like those old videos. And I'll like if I find someone new that I like one of the videos, I'll subscribe to him for a while to support them because when you're a YouTube, I'm a YouTube Red guy. I pay for it, and that means that they get support from me just by me subscribing to them and watching their videos and whatever. I don't have to worry about. I mean, like if you're not YouTube Red, if you're like regular YouTube, you only get support if you actively hit a like button or you watch a video for the ads. Whereas you'll get support from people who subscribe to you through YouTube Red. You know, like it'll count to push their like they won't get money for it, but the fact that I'm keeping it on my subs list will boost them in the recommendations.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, I got the same thing going on. Interesting.
Like on my Unbearable account, the only subscriptions I have are to our group of creators, like the 30 or 40 of us in that little group we have. You know, kind of like Zach's and Salty and you and that sort of group.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Call it what you want. Fellowship, community, fans, friends, whatever. I get you. I feel it. That's awesome. So
the victims of Amazon Prime is what it feels like.
The what?
The victims of Amazon Prime, because most of us know each other because of Wheel of Prime, the horrible TV show.
I understand what you're saying.
So that's how I found Salty and Zach. I didn't even know they were making that adaptation. Then I heard about it. I'm like, oh, Rosamund Pike, she's a good actress. It can't be too bad. And then I remember watching it, and I'm like, am I the only one who thinks this is complete garbage? I even then I watched the second episode, and then I said, I'll give them a chance and watch the second episode. I was like, did I suffer brain damage? Did I not read the Wheel of Time, and this is really what happened in it? And then I went online, and I found Disparu. I don't know if you guys have watched Disparu rip something apart.
Disparu. Yeah.
He has the best rip aparts. I don't even think he breathes for his 45-minute video. He just talks continuously. And I guess it's a British thing or whatever. You can rip something apart continuously without And I was like, okay, other people must think this sucks. So then I found the Night's Watch with Chad, his other channel, and they did a good rip report. But Chad was like me. I'll give it a couple episodes. I'll see. I'll be fair. And I was like, and then Chad had a stroke in the 5th episode with Wheel of Prime. And then I'm like just sitting there one night, and all of a sudden I see a pop up live on Tuesday, Salty Texas C, talking about Wheel. I'm like, oh, let me check those guys out. And I met Salty and Zach, and I was talking to them. And I'm like, there's a whole group of us who know the show sucks. I was like,
that's funny. Yeah. I don't know. So
and then Salty urged me to start doing my own videos, and that's what happened. So
I just have always kind of experimented down the rabbit hole to, I want to say, like pockets of people. Like I kind of started more, I want to say it's more like how I met Loki through T-Shirt Historian and Fat Steven and a lot of those kind of folks. And I think it was T-Shirt Historian Saturday show, something about, they were talking about streaming or getting into streaming. And I made a comment about, I'd like to start streaming, but I feel like I would need someone to stream with. Like I need to do, I hadn't done it on YouTube, right? And T-Shirt just said, I'll do it with you. And we recorded a video or so. Then I basically asked a bunch of the folks that are on his panel, which led these people or those people. I don't exactly know how I ended up from like, one pocket to a different pocket. I don't know how that happens, but I don't know. Yeah. I didn't watch Wheel of Time, so that definitely wasn't it. So it had to be some other crossover stream or show that we ended up.
You were on someone's show.
I get invited on this.
You got might be Roman's show, maybe.
Probably Roman
or Zach's, one of the two of them. And I was give pops. I could usually with Zach to stream if I'm awake when he like the one he does tonight. I'll be in there giving people's links out. And so I was like, so I gave your link out. I said, let me subscribe to Pops. And I saw a couple of videos. Oh, this guy knows comic books like I do. It's same sort of interest, So then I became a big supporter of yours, with the membership.
Oh, yeah. So that's the beginning, man. You've been great. Yeah. It's awesome.
So that's how I found you. And you led me to a couple other guys who were in your little like subsection of the group,
Yeah. Yeah, you need to get out there more. We need to get you on some other comic book stuff, things like that, because you're like an encyclopedia. If I get you and James Mealy in the room, the world's going to break, because between the two of you, I'm not sure there's anything comic book stuff you would not be able to talk about. Because when he was young, his brother would describe the comic book by the cover. And it was like a game they'd play, and he'd tell what issue it is, and it was like, holy crap! Can you imagine playing that kind of game when you were a kid?
Like when I was, like I have a very high IQ, right? And I'm not boasting it, but I think that gives me my memory for stuff. Because like there are things I can remember, like Lord of the Rings or comic books or Naruto or early Transformers stuff. You know, a lot of old movies and things like that. You know, all sorts of stuff that. And I used to joke with people. My mind is filled with otherwise useless trivia.
So my wife says, so this is a story, Chris. You're going to love this. Talk about wife stories. Oh my gosh. Your wife will definitely appreciate this story. Wife's at the store, finds this book, and it's this useless information book, like a trivia book, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the clerk makes a snide remark about, oh, that's kind of a funny little book. Yeah, it's for my husband. He's the master of useless information. You know, like you call him up and you want to know what movie this guy's in or whatever, and he just knows the answer. And the clerk goes, well, it seems like it's not useless then.
Oh.
And she did not know what to say. And I'm like,
that's awesome. He gets you, man. He gets you.
He did. He felt me. He felt me through the universe. There was a Pops fan without him knowing. Yes. And thank you, Awesome One. I appreciate that. I'll take that reference every day, all day. And yes, Dave Bob, I found you through Loki as well. Yes. And Padass, yes, as well. And Padass was overlapped on a couple other things. That's how I found Padass. So, and I did find Awesome One. I was like, hey, Awesome One, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I'll rabbit hole like if there's something I don't know and it gets me like the word bovine. This is the perfect example of this. We were 16 and we would joke. We had one friend we would joke. We would call him bovine, but you know, cows just stand there no matter what happens. Like there was a big not a gang fight, but like our friend Clement and our friend John, this is our lunch crew. They were jumped by a gang of people, right? And who robbed them. And Dave was there, and Dave just stood there like a cow and watched them. And so we called him Bovine Man. And one day someone goes, hey, Matt, what is bovine? Because I do all the tricks. I'm like, I don't actually know what bovine means. So I researched it for 3 months. I couldn't stop. It was a rabbit hole. I had to go down into where the term came from, what language. It's a French thing, by the way, referring to a type of cow. But and that's how my brain works. When I want to know something, I will just rabbit hole in like head first and not even care if what I land on. And it's just so weird. Like I'll lose track of reality when I'm looking it up or whatever. Then an hour later, I'm like, why did I just read an hour about dimethyl hydrosulfate? Like,
I'll be in trouble for not listening to what she just said to me, so I can't get down that rabbit hole like that.
That's funny. Well, I got one for you then. I just found out this like last week because I never really cared to look it up before. Have either of you heard of the age-old rural hobby of cow tipping?
Yes,
of course.
Okay,
cow
so
tipping.
you know
dangerous.
Okay.
Dangerous. Not as fun as
it's done cow tipping, by the way.
There was a big debate.
Oh,
go ahead. There was a big debate that they were saying on this one podcast, so they started looking stuff up because the guy's like, no, it's not real. Because he said, do cows sleep laying down or do they sleep standing up?
They can do both.
They can do both. Okay, because that's what he kept. He's like, cow sleeps laying down. He's like, how are you going to tip a cow over laying down? So they went into a rabbit hole real quick on the podcast and they started looking it up. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I asked my wife about it. She had never heard about it. Never heard the term before. And I was like, you're kidding me. You never. Where we have live, donkeys. You've never heard of anybody that
we have donkeys that will sleep standing up, and it freaks you out. So the little baby did it the other day. So the babies will sleep like any time of day, right? They're just babies, just like our babies will, right? So it was in the afternoon. All the animals are eating, so she knows she can't eat right now. So she's off to the side, and she's just standing there, staring off as though they're looking. So the donkeys, when they stare at something, they dial in, right? They're like on it. So I'm like, what is she watching? And I'm watching her, and her ears are not moving. Nothing's moving. And Laura and my wife goes, she's sleeping. I look at her, and I realize That freaking baby donkey
That's
is like
hilarious.
standing there sleeping, like what, just completely zoned out. Like, yeah.
That's a
Jana,
talent
I think
wish
that's
we could
right. I
do.
think I'm with Matt on that too. The ADHD thing. Like, so I don't know if this is how you look at it too. I'll get down the rabbit hole with certain types of things, and it creates like an association of memory. So it's not like my brain goes,
Mhm.
you know, in issue number 3 of Old Man Logan, it's more like an association of the image and the experience and the rabbit hole and a story, and it becomes more of that than it does just like fact A equals fact B. It just doesn't work like that. I don't know.
Well, no, some of that's true, but some of it's in my memory. Like what I do for a living is where I work in healthcare information informatics, and I've seen a lot of, for example, patient medical record numbers, like literally over 30,000 of them in the last couple of years alone. And I can look at them now and say, oh, that patient was born in 2010. That patient's from 2000.
That's the eidetic memory then. Yeah, that's eidetic memory.
It used to be better. I don't have as much control over it since when I was a little kid, I would take my school textbooks home, read them once, and never have to carry them again. You know, but by the time as I aged, got older, it became hard to call it up. Like I still remember stuff, I couldn't recall it as well. You know, but it's like that. It's like when I remember something, I'll remember, and there's no in between. You know.
Copa's in the house. Yo, who's watching the baby? What's happening here? What is happening here? Where's my baby? You guys got to come to Florida so we can hold this kid. And Janet, just come on down. We have some you can buy. Buy them now, and you can have them when they're old enough. They're like ours are like giant dogs because Mrs. Pops babies them like you would not believe. Like it's insane.
Speaking of Florida, random YouTube stuff in Florida. I got a random YouTube video recommended about 4 days ago because I watch these sometimes. There's a python infestation in Florida, right? So they caught a 20-foot python in Florida.
Yeah, the Burmese. Yep.
Yeah. Well, there's more than Burmese. There's even anacondas are finding Florida now.
Oh, well, people release these things in the Everglades and whatever, and they just run rampant because there's no. I mean, they could just live in the wild, just eat and eat and eat.
Oh, it's a perfect environment.
They actually have snake hunts here, so they'll go out and say, "We need to go into the Everglades." They go in the Everglades. They do these giant snake hunts. You're searching for snakes that are this big or bigger, and there's like, they look for the 150 of them just to keep the population under control. But the same thing with like lizards. Well, like owning piranha or is illegal here because you can't own a piranha here. Because we actually had like Fish and Wildlife storm a dorm when I was in college by some dude who was breeding piranha in the dorm room. He was from like Michigan or something, and he didn't know they were illegal here. I'm like, dude, you put those things in a lake and they start breeding, they'll destroy the ecosystem. Like you can't. This animal can live in the wild here. Everything lives in the wild here. That's why we have bug problems. We've had invasive frog issues. Yep. So these I don't know, they're like from Puerto Rico.
Just wait, if you and I live long enough, you'll have hippopotamus problems in about 30 years.
Could you imagine if someone let a hippopotamus loose in Florida?
They did.
Lives in some lake.
In Pablo Escobar, we were talking with him before.
He had hippos brought in.
There's about 300 wild hippos now. Hippopotamus are pigs. They breed like pigs. They have no natural predators on our coast. The feral pig problem you guys are getting in the South now? And we're getting one from Canada. Another species of feral pig is expanding out from Canada. Hippopotamus, once they hit about 1,000 in that tropical rainforest, they're going to start expanding like pigs northward.
Pigs have a lot of babies.
Yeah,
and they come so in. Oh man, I wish you guys could see these things. You get caught up in the moment. You don't film it. So maybe when the next one delivers, I'll film it. The pig. So we had her since she was 8 weeks old. She's never been around another pig until little baby pigs came along, right? But she was an adult. So when she had her pigs, she would get up and grunt at them to get them to move out of the way, to get them to where she wanted them to be so she could lay down so that they could feed on a certain side and stuff. Yeah. She would grunt and change the tones of her grunts, and like all of this maternal instinct came in my pig. It was the craziest thing to watch. Like I'm like, honey, did she just talk to yes? And it wasn't one time. It would just keep happening over again. I'm like, this is insane. And then when the other pigs delivered, it was similar, different approaches, different. It was like these animals. It was crazy. And our pigs had small litters. I cannot imagine having a litter of 5 to 7 baby hippos. That would be, my wife would be out of her mind with hippos. Holy crap! Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But like I said, their hippopotamuses are basically giant pigs, and once the population hits a critical mass down there, because they need to either catch them all and move them back to Africa or kill them all. Sadly, but because they're considered an endangered species, they don't want to kill them, and they're hemming and hawing over doing anything. So every year, there's 2 or 3 more hippos in the wild, and
So I got to figure out. I got to get one of the coyotes to smuggle over a hippo for Mrs. Pops. What you're saying? Pair
well,
of hippos?
if you live long enough, they'll be there because just
That's
like
true.
those feral pigs, there's like I think
Yeah.
Texas alone has like 6 million feral pigs now. Some crazy
Yeah.
number about that.
Yeah.
And Florida's starting to get them because they're coming like eastward.
We'll just
It-
eat them. We'll just eat them. There's
Well-
if I get a feral pig, we're gonna eat that pig. So yeah, we're
You
good.
got to be careful with the feral ones because they have those parasites that the domestic ones don't have.
We'll
you know?
figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll gut that pig. We'll gut that pig out. We'll fine. Janet, listen, you're seriously welcome. There's a guest room. We'll figure it out. We'll make Copa sleep on a couch. You and baby can have the room. We'll be all good. We got you.
You want another nightmare invasive species that's happening on the east coast of the U.S.? So there's a species of spider that makes. You ever see in a movie when there's a web across like a path, someone walks through a web and it's in a path and spider.
Right.
And usually these giant spiders sitting there. If I had to name it, but it's like a very pretty looking spider. If you like the way it's like green and orange and all that. Apparently, someone had released them as pets in the eastern U.S. and they're starting to pop up in U.S. forest trails where they put their web across the forest thing, and you walk through it. And it's giant. It's not poisonous to people. It's more like a tarantula, but it's this giant bloody spider that just drops on you from like because you walk through a huge web. That's like and
Well, if they're bigger than this, because this is what we have right now, we have these things everywhere. These banana spiders.
they're poisonous though.
No, they're not poisonous. That thing ain't gonna hurt you. That thing is scared to death.
The banana
You-
spider from South America is one of the most poisonous spiders.
No, yeah, not this is the ones we have here in Florida are not poisonous. I mean, I'm sure if you're allergic to insect bites, I would not recommend getting bit by one of these. There's different colors and different whatever, but they're usually not nearly this bright. That's a very bright one in this image. But they will make these webs that are these massive webs, like something out of a movie. They're
okay.
And they're these huge size of your hand spiders, like it's crazy, but they're not poisonous and they're scared to death of you. They're not like, oh, I'm gonna fall from a tree on you or something like that. That's definitely not theirs. That's not their speed. So
the poisonous one's called the Brazilian wandering spider.
oh
And,
geez, yeah. I've heard of
as
that.
they kill, like they go on bananas down in southern Brazil, and the pickers just pick them and get bit by these things, they just die.
That's an arachnophobia movie brought to. I need to watch that movie. I love arachnophobia. That is like one of those. I know it's not that good and it's silly. I
like it too.
love that movie. That was one of my first editing gigs. I actually was paid to rip the musical score. This is nuts. I was paid to rip the musical score so they could use snippets of it for a training video. It was like, why am I using music from arachnophobia? Like we can't find like classical. No, they wanted this, and it was like you can only use so many seconds, and it was like, okay.
And
whatever.
I remember wasn't it arachnophobia? I went and saw that in the theater, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, John Goodman's in this?
John Goodman was fantastic in that.
Yeah.
And that, by the way, is one of the best Halloween costumes to ever do. The best Halloween costume ever. So. Well, guys, let me get through chat real quick because I got to bail out. Awesome one. Jacob, brother, thank you so much for hopping and hanging out. Grow banana out your skin. I wish it was that easy, man, or I'd be banana man. But listen, guys, thanks for hanging out with me, Matt. Chris, it's always great. Awesome.
Very fun. Thank you.
Chris, send me a list of some comics that you might be looking for. I'm headed to Tampa Comic Con in a week, so you never know. I might find something a quarter bin, $1 bin. You never know. Never know.
Okay. There
could show up in a birthday box. You never know.
There are some. Oh, and thank you again for the cards too. I love what Mrs. Pops did, but thanks for the cards. I was like, oh, now I'm even more wanting to pull out my card binders. I got slats for them, so.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know if you're looking for something. I can't guarantee I can help you out, but that's the only way I'll know is if I know you're looking for it. So, yeah, I know Bancroft's going to be in Tampa. I've kind of reached out to the Riot crew to see. I know where their table's going to be, so I'm going to at least swing by and say hey to everybody. But I think Michael's going to only be there on Saturday. I'm only going to be able to go on Sunday. I can't go on Saturday, but my son and I will be there.
That's going to be fun, though. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I haven't done a show in them forever. So I'll do some videos and just kind of hang out and do some stuff, looking for some graphic novels and things like that. So, but anyway, thanks to all of you guys that are out there. Thanks to everyone being a member. Appreciate you guys. You guys supporting me. It's great to like have like this weird fandom internet friendship thing going on. Because someday, Matt, you'll be back in Florida, and we'll figure out how to connect.
If I can get healthy, my plan is eventually move to Florida by my late 50s. So
there you go. Let's get you a Florida man. Let's do it. We'll get you figured out. We'll get it. And Chris, someday you're going to go to the East Coast.
Yeah, actually, my stepdaughter just went to Florida with her boyfriend to visit family. I'm like, man, I don't get to go.
But all of you guys that have been in chat, thank you all so much. Dave, Bob, take care, brother. Awesome one. Jacob, the Catanias, kiss that princess for me. Can't wait to get my hands on her, get her to Mrs. Pops. We won't be able to get her back then. You guys want a date night? Come to Florida. Mrs. Pops will take care of it. But so many people have been here. Thank you so much, Zach and Pat, and so many other great folks that have been around. Jedi Bill, Dean, Princess Leia Rose was here for a while. It's just been amazing just to hang out and talk about stuff. But tomorrow night, remember, about the same time, San Diego Comic-Con panel. We'll talk about some of the stuff going on there. Tons of videos every day. I don't even know what Thursday is. Oh, tomorrow morning is my freaking Secret Invasion. Oh, Lord help me.
I just watched it.
It's at least the best episode so far, but it still doesn't. You pluck a couple sprinkles off the turd? I mean, it's like it's just a terrible, like a mess. It's just a mess. So, anyway, with that, everybody take care. Be good. Be strong. Talk hard. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
Good night.
It didn't end fast.